open up the chat on this one so I can just interact with the people. Yep.
We're live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is a very rainy Friday night here at Access Sports, and welcome to the final round of eRacing GP Global Edition Season 15. Yeah, sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties.
Yes, the beauty of live television, plus the fact that that's not the most auspicious of starts, but yeah, welcome to Global Edition 13, the finale, round 4 here, and looking forward to it, isn't it, Damon? Because we got some championship to settle.
Yeah, we've got a lot of scores to settle, some very close competition at the top, and we're capping it off here, of course, at round 4 at Road America.
Yep. Let's go see how the circuit looks like. A 6.5 kilometer circuit around Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, and certainly, I think, one of the most beautiful circuits in America, and of course, one of the most iconic because this one has hosted a lot of road races since the 60s, but it's often been cited as one of the best circuits in America.
Yeah, and it's also definitely one of the fastest. There's a pretty much the entire the entire track is a high-speed affair when it comes to cars like this. We'll be starting with the Copper League, so why don't we just take a look at the standings right here. These are the current standings in terms of points, but again, we have to account for the drop scores.
Indeed, and the fact that when we look at the drop scores, Raja Amir Shaukat still has a big enough lead. In fact, he only needs 18 points in this particular round to clinch the championship, though it looks more or less a foregone conclusion. He has one hand on the trophy.
Yep.
Now, we go over to the team standings. This is what it looks like for the other battles at stake. It looks as though MPRGP and Stratos will be going all the way to the final run here for this one. Stratos looking to win their 4th team's title in the space of just 2 years.
Yeah, an amazing display of skill from them, both drivers, of course. We will be seeing them later on in the night. Let's go over to the Nations Cup standings, where Malaysia is actually in close contention with Indonesia here.
Yep, by only less than 100 points. So that's what is on offer here. But I think, again, some scores to settle, especially with Malaysia and Indonesia. They've been battling out throughout the entire run of eRacing Grand Prix, but not this close. Normally, this Nations Cup is the first thing that gets settled in the season. Not this time around. So the Indonesians might have a bit of an incentive to fight. And so as well is between Singapore and Sri Lanka. 5 points separating between the two of them. So this is actually quite a real good battle to watch out for as well. But Sri Lanka, of course, have a few drivers represented in a few categories. That's why they're actually high up there, especially in bronze and copper. Now, moving on to the action out on track. And it looks as though it's Marcus Alonso Lacambra. I said Marcus Alonso, that's actually a footballer's name, but you get the idea. His name spells out. 2:33.7, still one of the fastest times out on track right now. It's way faster than what we were anticipating.
Yeah, we haven't actually seen much on display right now. Of course, we've seen Raja Amir Shaukat pretty much dominate the last 3 rounds here. Doesn't seem to be doing as well in this particular track, although that might have more to do with how the track is for these cars especially, because in these cars, conservation of speed is the most important. The entire track is basically 70 to 75% flat out in these cars.
Indeed, as you can see here onto, well, it's not the back straight, but it's almost like a back straight because it's so long that as we head up to the braking zone into turn number 4, get back on the throttle as quick as you can to actually carry the speed up through here. And then once we enter the 3rd sector, that's when we see the cars going full pelt for pretty much almost the entire lap from turn number 8 all the way to Canada Corner in turn 12.
Yeah. And then that is pretty much the only braking spot for these cars in this final sector just before the start-finish line. Aside from that, however, a lot of these cars, I've driven them for a few hours before we started off. Of course, these cars still can hold a tremendous amount of grip because they just don't have that much power. But if you accidentally cut a corner or put maybe 1 or 2 wheels on the grass, especially the drive wheels, then it's almost a foregone conclusion you wouldn't be able to recover afterwards.
Yeah, it's not front-wheel drive where if you were to have a slight hit, you can actually still recover the car. But yeah, it is quite tricky, especially when you have multiple cars are on track together. So they're gonna go side by side, and it's just a trust between yourself and another driver to prevent a spin. So if you were to go completely sideways, you're gonna have to go off the throttle, as opposed to a front wheel drive car. You can just go completely flat and it will straighten itself out.
Yeah, you definitely have to be aware of your surroundings as well, especially when in Copper class here we have a more than 20 car field, so it's gonna be a very close drive, a very close race all the way to the end of the start-finish straight, the very first corner, which is probably where we're gonna see the most action, especially in this point of the track where like everyone is trying to find their fastest line through, and if you don't get out of the corner quickly enough, you will end up trailing behind.
Indeed, and the momentum, of course, as similar to what you said about the preservation of speed, is also preservation of momentum. If you were to get bonked a bit by somebody when you're being overtaken, you're definitely going to be swallowed up by the rest of the field. Especially on a long circuit like this, with the cars being at full throttle all the time, it will really hurt you.
Yeah, so we're just about to see some of these cars about to cross the finish line for the last time in this practice session, and then we're gonna head straight to qualifying right after. A few cars that I've seen so far seem to be in pretty expected positions, with the exception of Raja Shaukat right now in 4th, not really doing his best runs. Genevieve Oy, of course, our female driver here in the Copper class, is actually doing pretty well in laps in the top 10. But again, this is practice, so we'll just have to see what it's like during the actual race itself.
Yep, there goes practice now. We're going to go back into the pit lane here, waiting for the start of qualifying, which is going to go in just less than a minute's time. Maybe a bit of a quick prediction. It looks as though Alonso Marcus Lacambra, out of nowhere, will be the fastest guy here today.
Yeah, we'll still have to be really aware right now because, of course, qualifying, everyone will be on their outlap. It is a pretty big track. It takes about 2.5 minutes for you to get around it. So there is this worry of having to deal with traffic, especially in a really fast track such as this.
Yep, but because the track is long enough, I don't think we'll have that much of a problem with traffic. But again, having said that, there is well over like 24 cars by our count here today, so it could still present as a problem in itself once we come into the race proper. But that's gonna be after this. What we're gonna focus right now is qualifying, and we are actually underway now for qualifying here, as what looked like Raja Shaukat getting a good getaway for a second is now gonna be traffic central. Because look at that, as he said in the lead up to the qualifying, how many cars are on track? Yes, many of them, and he's got traffic to deal with.
Yeah, so these cars are kind of spaced out okay, in the sense that with how long the track is and how fast it is, they might not get in each other's hairs too much. As we mentioned, there aren't really that many places where you really need to slow down. I think the whole course itself is basically a test of courage for some of these drivers, especially at the end of these really long straights. So whatever action that we'll see here, we're definitely only going to see in the corners.
And case in point, coming up to a corner right now, turn number 4, or rather 5, because the 4 actually counts as a corner even though it's a kink. This is proper turn 4, but it's called turn 5 here after the moraine sweep. Up the hill into turn number 6, and it looks as though Raja Shaukat has Raul there for company, so he's flashing his lights right now to tell him, yeah, get out of my way, I'm on an outlap here, ready to do a hot lap soon. And not to be outdone, looks like Raul Dev is also flashing right at us as well.
Yeah, of course it pays to maybe slow down a little for your outlap, just so you can get a bit of a gap between you and the other drivers on track now in the middle of the outlap. But these drivers, of course, are near the front of the pack, so slowing down won't really help them as much. So you can see here right now, coming up to a, I think this is turn 8?
11, because
yeah,
we're up to the kink now.
Yeah. So turn 11, we're coming out now. You can just basically hear that the cars are almost always completely flat out. There is at no point in time where the car is actually letting off of the gas.
Yep, in fact, you can see coming up to Canada corner here, there's still going to be flat until you reach the breaking point. There is a Rajamri Shaukat overtaking Genevieve Oy now, and Jen also gives way to him, so at least she doesn't bog him. And also Tehane Ranga right in front of Rajamri Sharkat has gotten a few drivers as well. Let's see where's Iranga. In fact, he's behind Ryan Musin. So Ryan, also one of our new debutants for this season. It looks as though he's not going to give Iranga away. He's going to give him free slipstream, but it's definitely going to hinder his lap.
Yeah.
So we're going to go for an onboard lap now around the Road America circuit. Let's see how Tehad Iranga will do, because I think he's... Oh, in fact, let's go on board with Marcus Lacambra, Damon.
Yeah, okay, so now he's coming up to turn 1 right now. You can see very fast, still in 4th, and the track limits for this track in particular are very generous in this, so you can have almost the entire car, about 2 car lengths out of the white line, and still have that considered a clean lap. So now we're coming out to turn 3 into the big straight that is turn 4, of course, not the actual turn 4. This isn't a turn, because these cars are going to be going all the way up to 5th gear, and very important for these cars especially, you're going to have to hold the revs up in 5th gear, because you do not want to shift down in 6. Once you're in 6, you're far too deep into the corner. You're going to have to lose speed anyway, and you'll be losing speed because you're in 6. So coming out to T5 now, again, very generous track limit, staying on the edge there. Into the Corvette bridge, of course, and then into turn 6, right into turn 7. This is a very fast left-right section. Very nice and gentle there coming in. You see how smooth the steering inputs are for these drivers, and pretty much hovering over 6,000 revs almost the entire time. Into turn 8. Now from this point onwards, you're basically going to hear the car completely go flat out right now, of course, as the aptly named Speedville Bridge. This is going to be Speedville for these cars. Going through 9, into 10, past the carousel, right all the way to the Continental Bridge right now. They're going to be heading into turn 11, and listen carefully, you can see they're still holding it flat right now as they're going through turn 11. Again, staying over 6,000 revs, and you still don't want to fall into the trap of shifting to 6. You want to hold that revs up all the way up to the red line, because once you hit 6, the car just immediately bogs down in revs, and you don't get the acceleration that you like. So braking at about just after the 100 meter marker, again passing track limits, very generous there, but you want to be careful you don't accidentally put more than 2 wheels on the grass, otherwise it counts as a cut. After Canada corner, into Thunder Valley and through the Bill Mitchell bend, running up to turn 14, the final corner of the track, into the start-finish straight. We're going to have a very clean lap here, and these drivers are only going to be able to have 2 laps.
Yep. Across the brow now, we climb up to the start-finish line. It seems quite arduous for these cars, especially when they're low on power, to bring it up through the gears. And you can see how long Lacambra held it there, but he's gone through a 33.1. He nearly got into 32s. What a brilliant lap so far. And he has another one to go after this, as Tehane Ranga was second, but not for long, because Rajamiro Shaka goes up to second as well. So championship leader knows what he has to do. He has to finish in front of his main rivals, in particular Iranga and Sabi Ratnayake. So Ratnayake is out of the points, currently in qualifying in P7. So he's got one more lap to bring it out of the bag here if he stands any chance of trying to go close to his championship rival.
Yeah, and even while Shaukat is in second place, you can see the gap between them is about 1.4 seconds, which is a very considerable amount. There's a lot of time you lose on this track, especially in the high-speed sections, of which the track is pretty much like 80% high-speed sections anyway for these cars.
Yeah.
We'll see how differently the GT3 and the GT2 cars are later on in the night, but of course you get to see it. It doesn't really feel like very intense racing at these speeds, but for the slow sections it can really mean some pretty strong competition.
In particular, this is kind of like a prelude to what we're going to see during the race. There's Reyes on the inside, Genevieve Oy on the outside, and James trying to go in between the both of them. There's a hit. Oh! And that is that's not even the race. That's actually qualifying, and James somehow manages to come through the both of them, but I don't think that helped his lap time at all.
Yeah, it didn't, and well, worse than that, it ruined the other 2 drivers' laps basically on that contact. So that was pretty high pressure driving. I think someone Genevieve might have buckled that, because I did see that she did initiate the contact. And Alonso Marcus Lacambra right behind Badia Nick right now, trying to flash his lights, asking him to let it through. He's still on his fast lap. He wants to beat his time.
And he may not be able to now because he ran so wide there.
Oh, that's a cut, I think.
Yeah, and the fact that Bardia Nikajadi nearly hit the back of him as well. So, oh, that was as close as he would have wanted to. Literally nearly coming a cropper as we see an onboard of Lacambra there on the inside. Bardia goes on the inside, and that will ruin it for the both of them.
Oh man, come on guys, it's qualifying. You don't have to be so intense so quickly out the gate. We haven't even gotten to the race yet.
And while that's happening, there's Raja Shaka coming out of the final corner.
Ooh.
Will he be able to? He just avoided Bardia Nick coming into the racetrack, but will he be able to improve on his lap time as he comes across the brow then? 1.4 seconds to beat Marcus Lacambra as he comes across the line. Would it be a 33? And it's not. It's a 34.2, but 1 second difference between himself and Lacambra. He'll be happy to take 4 points here.
Yeah, unfortunately, he won't be getting points for the fastest lap, but starting at the front of the grid is going to be a very good thing for him because he won't have to worry about traffic. There is the problem, of course, of slipstream.
Oof. And
yeah,
the slipstream will be a big factor here. Ratayake manages to salvage some points, but P3 with 3 points. One more point lost to Raja Shaka, who qualifies in P2. As we got a few comments coming in through our YouTube section. Santi Sarsosa Racing says that go Marcus, and there we go. There's your man on pole position, Lacambra, with an absolutely amazing time, a 33.1 ahead of Raja Shaukat, with third place being Rosabi Rathnayake, fourth Ian James, and fifth Tehane Ranga. So all the major protagonists for the race itself are here at the front of the grid.
Yeah, and of course I've seen the comment that says this is foreshadowing for the actual race, and I don't want to say anything because I've been known to invoke commentators curse quite often when I'm doing these races.
Yes, and I think we've at least jinxed quite a few people, even without us talking on camera. We just view them and there's always a crash. So
yeah,
high likeliness of this happening is, well, not to say quite high, but it does have a bit of a tinge of possibility in it, because last time out when we were in Road America, we were on Race Room, and we had big ones in Season 5 and Season 9. So again, not out of the realm of possibility if that were to be the case. Now we're actually back on track here, on board with a few drivers. We're going to have some nice camera views to look at. In particular, Marcus Lacambra up in front. Look at that. The run up to turn 1 is about 700 meters. Yes, we're not using feet. So what the heck is Imperial? Am I right?
Yeah. What incarnation is a mile? Okay. Can't say that because I use miles per hour to note speed quite a lot because it just sounds nicer. Okay. So, you can see 24 cars on the grid right now. A lot of them. It's going to be a very long run up to the first straight. So, turn 1 is going to be the most intense bit. We have to be really careful right now.
And here's a couple of drivers we're going to look at onboards at. Right beside Lacambra is Raja Shaukat. He's going to have a long look into turn 1 as well. At least he's up at the front, so he has no cars to worry about, especially if a car stalls on the grid or bogs the start. Then he's going to have to take avoiding action on the grass or another car or the barrier on the outside.
Yeah. And if you look at it really nicely, if you look at it really closely, this track isn't very wide.
Yes, and given the fact that it's just barely enough to fit 4 Mazdas in a row, that shows how crazy tight it could be. And there is the view from Bardia Nikanjadi's view. Right behind, well, he's not completely behind. He manages to put a time in that's not lost on the grid, but there is a big sizable gap between himself and whoever's on pole position for him to catch.
Yeah, it's going to be a tall ask. You can see Alonso here getting ready.
Yep.
I think his headphones might run out of battery. We don't know that for sure. Oh no, he's changing the cups on his earbuds.
Oh, in fact, he's not going for the headphones at all. We're looking at our second screen here right now, but enough of that. We're getting ready for the action for round number 4, race 1, the final race of the entire season here in Global Edition 13. And we're underway for Copper. And it looks as though Lacambra may have gotten to the best of starts here. It's a good launch off the line, and let's see if the second phase of the start gets better for him. It looks as though it might have been. Yes, it does. He manages to outgun Raja Shaka coming to turn 1. He has the whole shot, but for how long as cars further behind touch the barrier there? Raja Shaka goes into the corner for a second in the lead, and he does get him back. Oh, we gotta have to actually...
Oh, look at that!
Oh, 3 cars, 4 cars even. Now make that 5 and 6. I don't know who's that was involved. That's Donny Sadewa in
That's
between.
all of them. That's all of them being involved in the crash right now. I can't even name names right now. I think that's just half the field being taken out.
Yes, indeed. And Tehari Ranga was one of them. That's the championship rival to Raja Amirul Shakat. He has a mathematical chance of overhauling the Malaysian, but unfortunately, it looks as though the task has gotten even bigger than the size of Mount Everest here.
Yeah, and it's so much more difficult on this course because everyone is going to be full throttle almost all the time. You barely have any opportunities to make a pass happen unless you're braver than everyone else. So Tehari Ranga really going to have to try hard here, but it doesn't look like... I don't want to say the race is over already. Alonso Marcus Lacambra going into the inside of Ian James that I think who just went a bit wide. Still he just went off, and there was another crash right there. That's
Rathnayake, Savi. Oh, what a save! But then he gets whacked even further by I don't know who's that going into the barriers. That might have been Iranga. No, it's not. Iranga managed to miss it. Donny Sadewa was the one that hit the barriers.
wow.
And, wow, it's only the first lap, and out of all of that, the rookie here, the debutant for this round, Bardia Nikajadi, he's actually managed to get up to P9. What a start from the young kid, a 40-year-old all the way from Iran.
Okay, let's take stock of where we are now. Shavines Mohan, a very, very unfortunate loser. Probably one of the biggest losers of the entire kerfuffle that happened. Is dropped down to P17. He's going to be in a very terrible spot right now. Genevieve Boy didn't really put in the best qualifying time, and looks like her race has also been a bit spoiled right now. Oh, someone there just went off. Which one was that?
Can't even pick it up right now. It might have been Ryan. No, it's not Ryan Musin. Can't pick up whoever was there because that car literally... No, it's Muhammad Nandava. So Nandava, the Indonesian, went off right at the back there. But we're going to have to go back to the front of the field. Let's see where is Raja Amirul Shakat. He's actually right behind Marcus Alonso Lacambra. I say Marcus Alonso again, did I?
Yes,
Alonso Marcus Lacambra, because that is the name of a footballer.
Yeah. Okay, so biggest two front runners, the two fastest drivers in qualifying, managed to avoid the spectacle, and now they have a completely clean track for them to do battle in. Again, 2.5 laps, 2.5 minutes per lap probably means they'll only be able to do about 6 laps before the race ends. But there's a lot you can do in these 6 laps. As you can see, they're going really wide. They're just abusing the generosity of the track limits. Adrian Ahmed in P4 behind Aziz Shami Mokhtar here.
Yeah, and the fact that Adrian, when he crossed the line just now, was in P3, so he is able to fight for the podium positions, but he lost that one in this particular instance to Azib Mokhtar, and now Azib is gonna go into the defense. Adrian will have to be really spot on with his attack as he goes already outside coming to turn number 5.
There you go, test of courage coming into T5 right now. Who's gonna break later? They both break at about the same time, but Adrian Ahmed loses his confidence a little bit, goes a bit wide there, ends up losing another position over there.
And it's Raul Dev who picks up the pieces there to get up to P3 even. Can he go for 2 for 1? Oh, nearly gets it because Azib shuts the door right in his face. And these guys know each other quite well because they came from the campus tour this year in the TGR GT Cup Malaysia.
Yeah, and Adrian Ahmed, the biggest loser of that entire exchange right now, lost a bit of confidence coming into T5, was also on the wider line there, so couldn't carry as much speed as he would have liked. Now Rahul Dev putting the pressure on Shami Mokhtar here. And now it's it's almost a 5-car battle. There's 2 more cars behind them. And of course, Ian James, and I think that's Tehani Ranga right behind him. Of course, trying to gain back the positions they lost in the first lap here. Quite a distance behind them, but anything can happen, especially when you have the car in front to guide you on how late you can actually brake.
Ooh. And speaking of late, that is actually a late turning for Raul. No, that was actually Azib. Azib got forced out real wide there. He goes onto the grass. Luckily, no collision, but Raul there gets up to 3rd. Now he has to defend against the 9-year-old, Adrian Ahmed. I still can't believe that we had to say these guys in a single-digit age. That's how young some of these drivers are.
Yeah, definitely. Adrian Ahmed has to... What's the word I'm looking for? Search deep within him for the courage that he needs to take these corners as fast as he can possibly do. Raul Dev also going a bit wide here. Adrian Ahmed might get the slingshot past him, but Raul Dev's not giving him the opportunity to. But he is faster on the start-finish straight, as it looks like.
Yes, he is. And as they come up now over the brow, into the start finish straight. He has a better run coming to turn 1. He is thinking of a look on the inside. There's Azib, also has been overtaken by a recovering Ian James. There's Adri. He's going to do the same thing what Azib did to him the previous lap. An overtake coming to turn 1. Makes the move stick, and that is good racecraft. But he goes wide, leaving space on the inside for Raul to exploit, and retakes the position away. But the more they battle, the more they're going to relay the rest of them, as that's Azib going onto the inside of Ian James. No, it's Ian going onto the inside. So they're both been swapping positions as well. This is for the final position on the rostrum, and they're going at it all the while then. Raja Amirul Shaka is laughing all the way to the bank because that's pretty much his championship sealed.
Yeah, pretty much. You get the most points for finishing high in race 1. Race 2 doesn't net you as many points. So right now, this battle for P3 right now is actually shaping up to be quite intense because Dejan Iranga is just quietly making his move there. He's already passed Aziz Shamir Mukhtar there.
And there is Ian James, I think, going on the inside. It is Ian James on the inside of Adri. Makes it stick coming through turn number 6. And he sets his sights on the podium positions between himself and Raul Dev. And they have to be careful because they're both racing together in the same room, in fact. In another center that hosts sim racing rigs. So if they go fisticuffs over there, we'll tell them that the police report is going to be for certain.
Oh, Ian James goes a bit wider. Adrian Amit seizes the opportunity, makes the pass happen at the Speedville. This is going to be the fastest sector of the entire race right now. Making it through flat out there, but Adrian Amit doesn't really have the best line through that. Ian James will probably carry more speed through the end of turn 10 right now, out of the carousel and into turn 11. Ooh, a little bit of a shut there. Onto Adrian Amit is Ian James.
Yes, and Adri manages to barge his way through initially, but then Ian is even harder. Oh no! And speaking of barging, he actually hits Dejan Iranga, and in turn also hits Azib Mokhtar. So Azib is the collateral in that particular one, and coming through to take a few positions out of that is Doni Sadewa up to P6. P5, in fact.
Yeah, oh man, that was so sad for both of them as well, because we were, Adrian Amit and they are now P10 and P11 respectively, and they don't even have the fastest run-up, so they could lose his position right now. Just behind them is Bima Surya coming past Dejan Iranga there. Oh! That's Jason Wood! He's just knocked off Dejan.
And then, oh god, it's all kicking off right now, and it already kicked off since the very first lap. That in turn has shuffled the field completely. There's Sharvinesh Mohane in front of Savi Ratnayake, who's in front of Bima Surya. So that's the last position on the list where you can actually be able to start from the reverse grid pole position. So Savi is holding it for now, but he wants more points because he knows full well that's all he can do right now, because one hand on the trophy is going to Raja Amir Shaukat. Make that 2 at the end of this race after this.
Yeah, Sharvinesh is also quietly making moves. It's now up to P9. Savi is trying to make it past him on the inside of turn 1 right now. Oh, might have a little bit of contact there, forcing Sharvinesh to go a little bit wide. So there's two lines you can really take through turn 1. You can go really wide and build up a good exit speed, or you can come in really slow and then go as straight as possible out of turn 1 to carry more speed through there. Right now we're seeing that the latter is faster through turn 1 than if you would just go all the way to the end of the track limit.
Yeah, which is quite weird, because normally if you go further out wide, you normally actually gain more time, but it seems to be the converse thing that happens here. Sharvinesh nearly gets dumped onto the grass by Savi. He goes onto the inside. Bima Surya is just watching brief here. There's Sharvinesh going through, takes back the position away from Savi. Oh, big slide! Big slide there from Bima Surya as Adri Amit is recovering. His mom was actually just on the chat in YouTube that says, "Go Adri," just before the accident happens.
Oh no! Sharvinesh just went off. I think that was a bit of a shot from Savi Ratnayake.
And that will give Bima Surya a leap through. He goes up to P9, and Adri's back in the fight here.
Oh no, Sharvinesh just goes from bad to worse for him, but Adrian Amit doesn't seem to be able to make money moves right now. He's trying to make it past Savi Ratnayake. Up to Speedville right now. Does have a nice line through there. Savi is going to have to be a bit more defensive. Puts a couple of wheels on the grass right now, but you can see he wants to carry the speed. He does seem to be faster than Savi coming out of that the carousel right now, but he's got nowhere to go.
Yep, and he's got blocked out there by the fact that Savi's on the inside, Bima's on the outside. There's someone's gonna give. Something has to give, and it has given. Oh, close again, and this time Adri manages to not get hit. Savi goes through. Dejan Iranga goes through, but behind there as well. As Adri goes onto the inside, coming out to Kanakona, he holds pole position for race 2, but he wants more points. Savi hangs it around the outside. very, very close battle between both of them. And we will love to focus on what's going on further in front, especially the fact that Ian James is on the podium. Rahul Dev is just right behind him. We're going to have to watch this battle as well because this is pole position for race number 2. Adri comes through and takes P9, so he'll be on the front row. As now we're going to go back up to the front. This is P3. Ian James ahead of Rahul Dev by over 0.7 of a second. It was about 10th in it between them earlier.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it does seem like these kinds of stuff will happen quite often just because of how fast these cars are going. Like, these cars don't have that much power, but they are still rear-wheel drive, and they will still kick if you push them a little bit too hard. And while they can have a lot of grip during the high-speed sections, the moment you lose your bravery and step off the throttle, you will just lose it.
Absolutely, especially if you caught the grass or the curb a bit. It's enough to really send you sideways, so you wouldn't want to do that despite these cars not having as much power as some of the cars we use in the global edition, like the GT3s and the GT2s and 1s. Still requires a lot of commitment, and whoa, that's a lot of steering. That's
a lot of lock.
Yeah, that Rahul Dev's using. I'm not sure if that's going to help him on his exit and in his pursuit of Ian James. So, while that's happening, Savi Rahiakin has gotten in front of Adri. They touched a bit, coming into turn number 5.
A little bit of swerving there comes Savi Rahiakin.
Oh!
Shot!
Adri, no! Oh, no. That is, well, youthful exuberance and a bit of, I don't want to say immaturity, but probably not as circumspect. Yeah, we can go for that.
Yeah,
circumspect in racecraft.
Yeah, a little bit over-eager there. I think he didn't expect Savi to be slowing down that much for that particular corner and then tapped him on the end of it. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt that probably wasn't intentional. But that does mean he does stay in front, although we might see some protests later on about that position.
Indeed, but for the time being, he still holds the key for pole position in race number 2. He would love to have that and end the season off on a high after what has been a very difficult season for the young Malaysian. His best result this year has only been a P9. That was the very first race in Barcelona.
Yeah, and that just goes to show the level of competition here in Copper class. Well, there is quite a big variance in skill between these drivers. The ones who are really fast at the front are all going to be pretty close to one another, especially in cars like these where they don't, where they're all driving the same car. But performance is pretty much equal.
And we're going to go a bit further behind. There's a battle between Muhammad Rayas and Gimvidu Samarakun. Oh! Just as we cut to that, another accident coming through the kink. Perfect timing from the camera director. That's really on point. But unfortunately not the one we want to see.
Yeah, and I think, he took out Muhammad Reyes as well in that exchange. So now they're standing in the back of the pack right now. They're going to be having their own battle.
Yep, and here's more a bit of afters. Mutama Pratama is going to control it, or is he? Half spin, nearly into the crowd. Oh, Chris Axel Aranzanso nearly gets clouted as well. Oh, it's only the first race of the night, and we already have that many incidents to talk about.
Yeah, again, when you're pushing these cars to the edge, to the limit, as often as you are on this particular track, there are going to be moments where you just end up losing it. Like putting a couple of wheels on the grass, you just lose it. The curbs here are pretty flat, so they're actually kind of safe to be to drive on.
Yep.
You don't lose grip as much as you do like on, say, Nürburgring GP.
Yep, especially the AstroTurf on the outside can be quite dangerous, as Gimvidu Samarakun has unfortunately called it quits for this particular race. He's out of it. We saw him exiting the server where on top of our screen. Jenny Vifoy then is the beneficiary of that. She's up to P18. Just a few positions away from the points, as Chris Axel Arazanso is actually right behind Kevin Samarajiwa, and this is between Filipino and Sri Lankan. Let's see if this battle is going to be very close. Samarajiwa actually just tries to close the door. They're going to touch each other here. Might give a few positions away to put a couple of people as in front of them. Bimo Surya has lost a few positions. He's P15. What was a top 10 run, and as well as Bardi Nikinjani, he's dropped to P14. At least it'll be points for the both of them, as Aranzanso gets ahead of Samarajiwa.
Yeah, and this is the last lap, of course, and they're coming into turn 7 right now, I should say. And this is the last lap for them. As you go over to the front of the pack, Alonso Marcus Lacambra very comfortably ahead of Raja Miroshauka. He will not be able to win this race for this name, but championship is probably in the bag. Basically got it. It's confirmed right now.
It's in the bag. So, well, we don't want to get a bit too premature because we have done that before where we thought a driver became champion, but we had to wait until further confirmation. But at least for the time being, one hand on the trophy for Raja Amiru Shaukat, but it's Alonso Marcus Lacambra who comes across the line to take his first win of the season. That really came out of nowhere. We didn't know how good he was until we saw it today. He qualified last time out in P3. He only managed a pair of P11s, but he manages to take one number away from that one. It's P1 here in Road America with Raja Amiru Shaukat in P2. He'll be laughing all the way to the bank with that one with a championship win on the cards. P3 Ian James, good recovery after mayhem at the start with Raul Dev a bit disappointed to be in 4th place, but good comeback for him as well. P5 is Azib Shami, a fellow Toyota GR GT Cup Malaysia competitor to Rahul Dev. He gets his first points as well and his debut. Now, who's going to hold P10? Across the line goes Adri, so he takes pole position for race number 2.
Yeah, we might see some protests coming up for later on, but that is a story for later. Okay, so coming into race 2, we've already seen how these drivers are tackling Road America. Very fast track, very likely chance that you might make a mistake, as we've already seen multiple times.
And multiple occasions that we just pan the camera to the kink, something happens.
Yeah, and that I thought T5 was going to be a big point of contention for these drivers because it's probably the slowest corner on the track. But as it turns out, it's the high speed sections that really get you, because there is a fine line between holding it all the way until the Canada corner and then just letting the rear wheel slip and then just losing it after the kink.
Yeah, the thing is, because they're full throttle all the way, so the momentum they carry has to be preserved. Otherwise, they will just lose so much speed. They get bogged and overtaken. So that's why these drivers are literally going for broke in the copper class for honors and also for pride, because it's the last round of the season, and with the very final race coming up, all these guys would definitely want to go out on an absolute high.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen that so far. I mean, some of the drivers have been very consistent, very fast, and very good. But of course, when you're racing with someone else, there's a lot of discipline involved. You have to always be aware of what the other party is doing, and then sometimes just mistakes can happen, especially in that particular segment. We're going to go into race 2 right now, and we can see AJ Amit will be at the front of the grid later on. That means Alonso Marcus Lacambra and Raja Amiru Shaukat will be starting in P9 and P10 and P9 respectively. So now it's up to them to be able to navigate their way through the absolute mayhem that we've seen so far in race 1.
Yeah, and the worst part is they're going to be right in that midfield where all the action happens, as we got a few drivers who are commenting on the race. Remember that guy who said, this is foreshadowing for the actual race, isn't it? Yeah, Kinetic Rhyme literally said it straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, he definitely called it. We can see further down in the comment section right now as you keep scrolling down. Yeah.
Fladi Malik and Alia Wafi Prenata offering their inputs into the conversation.
Yes. So probably
yeah.
the best word to put it. Oh, man. Okay. So, driver's going to be on the grid soon. I'm going to cut over now to the starting grid in about a couple of seconds.
Yep. In fact, we're going to jump straight onto the grid now. So, this is the view from Alonso Marcus Lacambra. He's got 10 people right in front of him. So, completely different to what he had at the start of race number 1, where it was a clear run to the line. Conversely, this is Adriame's view, and he will definitely be licking his lips that he's got a clean run to turn number 1, but he has to make sure that he gets a good launch off the line and not bog it, especially given the fact that we saw just now how it was neck and neck between Alonso Marcus Lacambra and Raja Amiru Shaukat trying to get a whole shot into turn number 1. This is the camera view that we have on top of the gantry coming in today. It's a very nice shot. In fact, it's really showing the rest of Wisconsin for the behind in Elkhart Lake and the 24 cars that we have here climbing up the brows. So some drivers really have, well, luckily they'd have to hold the clutch to control it to go out, but you get the idea. It's a run, it's a hill, a steep gradient to go up to the start finish line. You're already at a disadvantage even before the race started.
Yeah, basically, because you're gonna have you're gonna need a lot more power to get over the hill than you would when you're already at the top of it. Potential energy here what was the word I'm looking for? Thermodynamics is the word we're looking for. A lot of potential energy at the top. You will carry a lot more speed into turn 1 if you're starting at the front right now. There's a lot of things you have to realize, take into consideration when you're starting at this point. So, will Alonso, Marcus Lacambra, and Raja Amir Shaka be able to replicate their front-running finish in race 2 when they're starting this far back?
Yeah, especially given the fact that, as you said before, it's a very tight start-finish straight. And we got the lights on the gantry now. We're going to focus on Adrian Amiat at the front. When the lights come on the gantry, they will go out after this and start the final race of the entire ERGP Global Edition 13 Copper Class season. And we're underway now. And someone stole on the grid. Someone has stole it. Oh, we didn't even get to turn 1. And there's a big accident. And luckily this time it's not caused by a car being stationary due to other factors. That was a start of nightmares for everybody.
Look at that. Only 8 cars made it past without any incident. It basically just started from one of the drivers stalling. Adrian Amit and Tehane Ranga are still in front right now. I can see a few drivers behind them. We haven't been able to see their names yet. They'll come up on screen very shortly. But all that matters is that Tehane Ranga, Adrian Amit, and who's that right behind him? It's Ian James. He's back in 3rd.
Wow, that's a good start from Ian as he's battling with old foe. Well, I say old because they've been each other's arrears way too many times this season right now. Tehane Ranga, they go side by side, but Adri has a big problem here. He's got 3 drivers coming in like gangbusters into turn number 5. He tries to block off Iranga, pushes onto the grass, still manages to hold on to the lead here. Coming out to turn number 5. Around the outside goes Ian James. Lacambra goes through and touches James, which in turn causes him to touch Adri and somehow manages to hold on to the lead.
I'm surprised there wasn't, there was a little bit of an incident there, but pretty much every driver managed to recover. But
oh! And there's no way to recover from that one with Azib spinning out of the way.
I just said but. I haven't said anything yet and immediately something terrible has happened. Okay, right now I was about to mention the biggest loser out of all of this right now is Raja Amir Shaukat, because look at that. He's in P22.
And I can't even pick him up on camera right now. There he is. So he was the one involved in that start melee because he was probably unsighted. He was actually directly behind the car that stalled. Look at the effect. But again, it doesn't hurt too much because at least he's got a big enough buffer to Tehane Ranga and Savi Ratnayake to be worrying about championship permutations right now. But that's not the best way to end the season though.
Yeah, it's a matter of pride and dignity at this point. And right now he has to drive like an absolute madman because
There's
the guy that was starting beside him on the side is right now back in P1.
Wow, Lacambra actually avoided all the mayhem at the start. He's straight up to P1, and there goes, that's not Bimu, Surya. Right behind that's actually a Sri Lankan car. Iranga, again, finding the door handle of Adriamit there for a second, but Adri must have... Oh no, he's not going to concede for now, but he is going to get a terrible run coming out of turn number 14 onto the start-finish straight. That will allow Raja Amirul... No, that's not Raja Amirul, isn't it? That's actually... The timing screens are fooling us right now. It is Lacambra who's leading the way, and he's going to make a bit of a beeline for it as Iranga and Adriame go side by side coming to turn number 1. Now it's going to be a familiar feeling for Adri because he was overtaken in turn 1 before, and it's going to happen again in race number 2 as they come on out to turn number 1. There you go. Iranga comes through. Now we can focus on a couple of other battles. In fact, there goes Jason Un. Oh! Adri! No! He gets taken out by Jason Un. And Jason has actually faced the wrong way as well. Luckily for them, they actually spun it around to go in the right direction.
Oh, but rejoining might be a bit difficult here. You can see another car has to swerve. More cars have to swerve to get out of the way.
Samara-kun.
Oh!
Surya.
Just tapping Bhima Surya and letting him know that he's right there.
Oh wow, everything is all kicking off once again. And there's a car literally on the grass trying to overtake. Oh, into the barriers as well. Again, we're focusing on Jason Un. He is... Oh, no, never mind. Never mind, let's just let the pictures tell the story for itself. Oh, avoidance maneuver there from Sharvinesh.
No, there's a big one there as well.
Yeah, from Sharvinesh. And it still carries on. It just never stops, doesn't it?
Still going. Oh my god.
It never stops.
And if we look back to race 1, Jason Wood was also at the front of a couple of incidents in the last race as well. So might be a little bit of talking to him. We're just gonna have to see the replays right now because he has been involved in quite a lot of incidents and has ended up taking out quite a lot of drivers.
Well, it's not necessarily his fault. It's just the effect of having way too many cars in the same airspace in one time. It just causes that. People just plow into each other. And case in point there underneath the bridge, the Cheesehead Bridge. As, oh, there goes Sharvinesh onto the inside. Rahul Dev took the position for a second. But he's going to have the inside line coming into the carousel. Takes away P10 again from Sharvinesh Mohaner. And I said Cheesehead because Wisconsin's known for that, the Green Bay Packers.
Yes. I do love me some Wisconsin cheese. Very expensive here, though.
Indeed. Is that Chris Axel Aranzanto? Yes, Aranzanto's up to P7. Somehow, he's up there, but he's been overtaken. Oh! Sharvinesh into the barriers this time.
I wish I had a replay for that because there was no way he was going to make that corner at that speed. If that particular line, careful on the rejoin as well. Oh, the car's coming behind him. He has to stay in the middle of the track to make sure everyone can get past him safely. Oh, manages to avoid a bunch of incidents there, but it looks like there might be a little bit of contact near the front as well. Yeah, in fact, there goes Raja Brishaka coming through, so at least he's up to P13. No points in race number 2, of course, but he at least made up for a quite terrible start. As Xavier Ku then is the one that's attacking Azim Shavmi with Chris Axel Aranzanto right behind him. Oh my god, this is good. A lot of things are happening, and just over the course of the past, I wouldn't even say, like, has it been 2 laps since the big accident?
Yeah, now we're only into lap 3.
Yeah. That felt like ages ago.
Yeah, but it was the big one because someone forgot to accelerate off the line, which is
the clutch.
No, they forgot to accelerate completely because that's what you have to do when you want to start a race. Yeah. Otherwise, you're gonna end up becoming a brick wall in front of everybody. There's Xavier Ku fighting with Azim Shami. Oh, Azim cuts across him on the outside there, and that will give Aranzanto an opportunity to get at the both of them.
Man, I'm already speechless. What's it going to be like in Bronze later on when these cars are going to have like another 500 horsepower to play with?
Well, let's knock on plenty of wood that it would not be the case, but we might have jinxed that already anyway.
Yeah, you might have jinxed. You don't say stuff like that. You already know from prior experience that every time we say something, something will happen, and it's usually very poor for the drivers on track.
Well, that's good for us then. We can actually talk about it. And did I say earlier on the start-finish straight that don't stall it, otherwise you'll have to go into the grass and into the barriers.
Yes.
So, okay, that was a prophecy that actually has been fulfilled.
It's not good prophecy, is it?
Well, they call us the harbingers.
Okay. I was thinking that moniker would have been just reserved for me because I've been jinxing these drivers so many times, but I guess we're not all faultless.
Well, that will be falling onto the driver's laps in that particular instance, as we see the final points position being played out by Kevin Smarajiwa and Muhammad Reyes. Well, that's the last points for the season, and they have 3.8 seconds of a leeway in front of Muhammad Reyes. So, Rajamiro Shaukat. So they at least have something to battle for the final points of the season, as Xavier Ku has been overtaken by Chris Axel Aranzanto. Aranzanto, though, might have to watch his mirrors here, as Ku will try to battle back with, who's that? P9. That's Rahul Dev. So Rahul Dev also is coming to join the party.
Ooh, okay. After getting away from all that action, Alonso Marcus the cover is down 1.2 seconds in front of Tehane Ranga. Ian James another second behind that. So I think, barring any incidents, our podium has been locked in. Donis Adewa also about 4 seconds back. Adrian Ahmed manages to recover. He's now in P5. Still holding that position. Big gap between the car in front and the car behind him. Of course. No
man's land, which is something that all drivers want. So yeah, at least he can just drive serenely all the way to the finish line and match his best finishing position this season.
Yeah, unfortunately he couldn't score any higher, but that is of course how it is what it is when it comes to races like these. Again, driving these cars to the absolute limit of their grip and speed. Rahul Dev making it past Xavier Ku, making it look like almost nothing, but Xavier comes out with the switcheroo. They're side by side out of T3.
Indeed, come onto the proverbial back straight, when in actuality between 11 and 12 up to Canada corner is a back straight. But this is kind of like a back straight as well. It's so long.
There's so many straights.
Yeah, it takes forever to get up to the next corner. And here they come now up to turn number 5. And someone has to remember they needed to brake coming into this corner. And Raul Dev remembers how to brake because he actually braked completely almost to a standstill to let Xavier Ku through.
Yeah, he has to because you do want to carry as much speed as you can through there, but if you're carrying a lot of speed, there is only reasonably one line you can take to that corner, and if someone is already there, you can't use that line.
As we're looking at the comment section, Aulia Wafi Prenata gives another teary emoji because knowing for a fact that it has been tears for everybody involved. Not one driver, I would say, has not been free from any accident in this round.
Well, aside from the guy in P1, he hasn't been in any incidents actually.
Well, he has escaped the field, but I think he might have actually gotten a few scrapes along the way because there's no way in heck he would have gotten through that start line mayhem without getting some form of damage.
Yeah, it's not too big. Rahul Defia is still trying to make it past Xavier Ku as they're coming out to the kink right now. This is our fastest sector here of the final part of the track. Very important to get a good line through here because you need it once you're entering Canada corner. You're gonna brake just after the 100-meter marker right now. Yeah, Rahul Dev, I thought he was swerving in there, but he's just not that far enough close. Far enough close? Is that a word? Is that a phrase? I don't think it is. Okay. He's not close enough to Xavier to make a move on that particular section. So So's behind him, tries to get the slipstream. Coming out of T14 right now into the start-finish straight. Has to let off a bit there because I think he may have overcooked it near the exit.
Yeah. As speaking of overcooking it, there's something cooking behind the scenes as well because the stewards are going to have a real big headache sorting out the incidents, according to Kinetic Rhyme, who pretty much has been the harbinger in the comments.
Yeah, we'll be looking at the protest channel, see if anything does come up. But of course, he might not have too much of an effect on the rankings right now. Rahul Dev literally just kissing the tip of the rear bumper of Xavier Ku right now.
Indeed, and he's gonna give that rear end a bit of service here as he comes up to the side of Xavier Ku. Oh, very close again, and Raul Dev really is good. He's good at judging the gap between himself and Xavier Ku. So I think he might have had some radar on so he can tell how close he can be. But because of him fighting with Xavier Ku, he's lost a lot of time to Chris Axel Aranzanso, who's, well, made it almost a second, but because both of them were drafting each other, they're now back to the rear end of the Filipino. Let's see if Raul Dev does overtaking maneuver this time. Oh no, he's half spins it. Oh, and he completely loses it afterwards.
It was so close.
Oh, no. Very close, in fact, to Raja Miroshaka. At least he gains back some ground on that, but loses a few positions, including as well to Muhammad Reyes afterwards. So such a shame. It was such a good battle up to that point, but he misjudged the curve on the inside and just grabs the cross, sending him around. It was something we talked about earlier as well.
Yeah, because I was driving around this track quite a few times since, and T5 was probably the corner that got me the most, just because you have to be very, very aware of where you need to brake. You brake around, I think it's just slightly past the 100-meter marker, but sometimes if you go just an inch too far, you end up overcooking it and can't actually make the corner. Because this is I want to say it's more than 120 degree corner. Sorry, if you want to go into more detail, it's less than 90 degrees. So it's a very sharp left-hander that goes straight into another left-hander, which is blind, by the way, as you're going up the Corvette Bridge. Going through the Corvette Bridge, turn 6 is completely blind.
Yes, indeed. It's over the brow here, and then in Mazda MX-5s where you got the A-pillars, which are almost impossible to see out of anyway. So it really does become a problem when someone's unsighted. As speaking of someone going off here, at least Raul Dev's sighted Reyes going off. He really took a position away from him that time, and Reyes conversely just overcooked himself.
Yeah, so they're at Bill Mitchell Bend right now, coming into T14. That means that this is the next step is going to be their last one because there's no way these cars can qualify. As you can see, Ryan Hussein probably didn't have the best race of the round of the season. Ends up disconnecting. I think Govindu Samarakun also disconnected earlier on in the race.
Yeah, manually
so it's really unfortunate for them in this particular session. But
Yeah, manually disconnected, completely exited the race. So
Yeah.
they've retired from this one. As we look at battles for the behind, this is outside the points completely. This could have been points in race number 1, but P15 here doesn't offer any. Bima Surya and Sharvinesh Mohane. Sharvinesh really will feel hard done by this one.
Yeah, and he wasn't doing the greatest throughout the rest of the season. He was still finishing quite high, so to speak. He's finishing in the points. Oh, Power is there, right on the tip of Kalinuku. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, Shavinesh not having the best season here. Of course, his brother is racing in bronze class this season. So he really wants to be able to join him there, but it just isn't his season this time around.
Yeah, especially that he is, as we can look at Reyes and Kalinuku really going at it here right now. Sharvinesh was in the top 3 last season in Copper, but he decided to, or maybe he was forced to stay in the Copper class for this season. Really has now paid dividends for this one.
Yeah, so now we're coming up to the very last 15 seconds of the track right now. We're just going to take a look at our front runner, Alonso Marcos de Campo, to see where he is on his lap. Of course, yeah, this is going to be the last lap for everyone involved. Of course, he is right now past the king. And
before the king, this is Raja Amril Shaka taking another position away from Chris Axel Aranzanso. So at least Raja Amril Shaka can say that he's scored, for the most part, points every single race. He didn't score it last time out in Watkins Glen race number 2, but that's besides the point. At least the championship will truly be his now. But the day belongs to Alonso Marcos Lacambra with a pole position before race number 1, a win in race number 1, and a win in race number 2. What a way to finish off the season on an absolute high, stonking performance. The second complete triple winner here today, with Lacambra taking maybe the fastest lap as well. We'll have to check back later on. Yep. But Lacambra wins, Eranga in second, and third is Ian James, a very close lead behind. Actually, it might have been a photo finish. Donny Sadewa, a quiet fourth, but he'll have to take that. And fifth is AJ Ahmed, who just holds it off on the line in front of Aziz Shami Mokhtar. We're going to run through the rest of the field as they come before us. Xavier Ku, a fighting valiant P7. 8th, Raja Amril Shaka, who no doubt is champion in the Copper class after an astonishing season with such a strong start. He'll be happy to walk away with this one after a rather nightmarish start. 9th, Chris Axel Aranzanso, and 10th, final points of the season goes to Raul Dev. So that is the final race of the entire season in the Copper class, but we'll have plenty more. This is just the appetizer for what's to come. Yeah, we'll be cutting to a short break, and we'll be back with the bronze class in just a few minutes. Do you want to do an interview? Let's see if we can actually get him first. Yeah. Hello, Alonso. Can you hear us, please?
Yes. Hello.
Okay.
All right, Damon, take it away.
All right. How does it feel? I'm winning the very last round of Global Edition.
Well, it's very exciting because it's the first time I've actually won a round here, especially it being the second round I've joined in the ERGP.
Okay, there must be some really tough competition near holding off to the front of the pack. How did you feel about the competition that you were facing off throughout the entirety of the 2 races?
I'd say it was very equal because I was being contested at times in the start, but then again I was able to pull away at the end. So I believe it came down just to the racing line here.
Yeah, and of course there were a considerable amount of incidents that happened just behind you that you managed to get away from scot-free. Aside from that, congratulations on your win, of course.
No, not only just a win, but also a double win.
Yeah, double win and fastest lap, yes.
Well, we're not sure fastest lap in both races, but you'll definitely be psyched for next season because I think we'll definitely going to see you back in Copper, aren't you?
Yep.
Right. So any last words to close off the season in Copper, Marcus?
It was a great season with everyone I've raced. Keep pushing, guys, and I'll see you guys next season.
Very well said. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next season, Alonso.
Yep. See you guys.
All right. Take care. Now we're going to move on to the next order of business, and that's normally a class that delivers all the big action. It's the bronze class after this in GT3 cars, and I can't wait for that one. That will probably produce some spectacular racing, just like the Maz does, but let's hope, fingers crossed, that it doesn't provide some of the notoriety.
Okay, we'll be cutting to ads. We'll see you in just a short while.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
Welcome back to Global Edition, round 13, last round, final round here at Road America, and we are now on board with the bronze class.
Yes, indeed. And the bronze class here, as we always normally say, is the one that delivers. So, welcome on board. This is Amazi. Alongside me is Damon Shocks Tam. We're ready here to end off the season. And what can be said is the two championships we're looking forward to see the great crescendo come to an end. Now, this is the standings for the bronze class, how it looks like. Kazani Ramdani in front of Jaden Chia by just 7 points. This is the total though. If we flip the script on its head, this is what it looks like. Just 1 point separating between Ramdani and Chia, with a further 2 points deduction for Chia for this round because he changed cars.
Yeah, no longer driving the Porsche 911 GT3R. Now he'll be in a different car. As you can see, he's in the BMW, which I think has the best straight line speed, which is a very big requirement for this track.
Indeed. And yeah, we're gonna go for the big screen here. Yeah. Now then,
Okay.
practice is over.
Yep.
Ready to go. Jaden Chia though, the fastest. So 204s. That is pretty much the target lap times here around Road America for these cars. He is looking forward to this one because it's a car that's different from the Porsche. He'll definitely be right up there on the pace.
Yeah. Okay, we'll be starting qualifying in just about a minute.
Oof. We caught the end of that one as Ngo Yong Jan. And well, we've got the festivities going on even before the race started.
What a great start to the bronze class after what was an incredibly chaotic Copper League as well.
Indeed. But good news is it's not as packed as last time. Yes, we still have 18, 19 cars on the circuit. I think 18 now, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it will still be... That doesn't mean there won't be a competitive race, you know. It is still absolutely frenetic in this category.
Yeah, especially with these cars. Of course, GT3 cars about 550 to 600 horsepower. We were seeing cars go, the MX-5s go about 190 to 200 Ks at the end of every straight. Here we'll be seeing them go 240, 250 maybe, as they're coming up to the first really long straight of the track. Of course, here we go, qualifying. All the drivers are now coming out of the pit lane.
Yep. In fact, Jaden Chia is waiting for everybody to come through. So we're focusing on him right now as the rest of the field comes by. When is Jaden going to come out? Pretty much... Oh, he's actually waiting for the entire field to go through. So, yeah, he's calm. He's really calm as a cucumber here right now. Well, I say cool as a cucumber normally. Waiting for everyone to come by. So I'm surprised that he is not wanting to take track position away as opposed to his main championship rival, Kanzani Ramdani, who manages to be right up to the front and sprint away already.
Yeah, so he is in a position where he's running in a lot of clean air, so he'll be able to set a good lap. It's just hope the other cars on the field could provide more of a contest for him. You can see Amirul Afik coming out in second place right now, but just behind him, of course, is Muhammad Lukmanul Hakim. Actually, I think the lines might be a little bit, yeah, but that's Amirul Afik in second place right now. Lukmanul Hakim just behind him. Again, sticking with the Ferrari, who does, they do seem to be quite attached to their cars this time around.
Yeah, but I can't help but feel that you will have to choose either the BMW Z4 or the Mercedes, because the front engine cars in this game are absolutely powerful, but the Ferrari though still has its beauty. Look at that. Despite it having a plain livery, because this is actually what the game offers anyway, it just looks so beautiful. Oh, at least until that happens, it's not going to be beautiful now.
Yeah, and again, that's the issue with driving a mid-engine car, because yes, these are very high-speed sections, but high-speed sections are not where mid-engine cars really enjoy themselves being, especially when you have to turn the car to make it fast.
Yep, and you have to use that mid-engine layout to really hook the car through the corner. The front-engine car, you can take a while to get back onto the power, but once it has the full grunt, it really goes. Now then, we're going to go on board with Kanzani Ramdani for a lap around Road America, and here we go then, Damon, for a lap here.
Okay, as we mentioned before, now coming up to the start-finish straight, very long straight here. We could probably go and be at about 250 Ks coming up into turn 1. We'll have to see how different the lines are compared to the Cup, MX-5 Cup cars coming in. So keeping it nice and tidy. Don't want to go too far off the track, as he says that. As I say that, however, he does go past the white lines there, but very fast exit. Now there is a car in front of him, so you might have to struggle a little bit to get a good lap in.
Oh, that's his teammate, Ahmad Jusmin. So at least Jusmin would know he's coming.
I mean, worst comes to worst, he'll be able to get some slipstream off of it if he comes close enough. So now they're coming up to turn 4, which isn't actually turn 4. The Moraine sweep here. Very fast straight, but ending in a very, very tight left-hander. So you have to brake quite early to get yourself around. There we go. 2 wheels on the grass, not the best line through. You might end up losing the car there because the curbs are pretty high on that part. Into turn 6, going a bit wide there. And then coming up to turn 7 right now, this is a fast right-hander. Still letting off on the throttle just a little bit. Wasn't quite sure whether he was going to make it through. And now coming up to turn 8, another very tight 90-degree left-hander into the speedville, into the carousel, of course. These were flat in the MX-5 cars, not quite as flat. You're going to have to let off on the throttle there as you're coming into the inside. Once you want to clip the apex, coming out of the carousel, don't want to go too wide there, puts 2 wheels on the grass. Now, making it past the kink, turn 11. Flat through there, very good driving from him. Has to find the line where, the straightest line through, because you don't want to be steering the car too much. You will scrub off a lot of speed coming into Canada there, braking a bit early, a little bit jittery on the steering there. But that's just how these cars are. Very nice line, very nice exit out of Canada corner into the Bill Mitchell then. 2 wheels on the grass again. You might lose control of the car just a little bit slightly there as coming out to T14. Not the cleanest, very fast one coming out to the start-finish straight.
Indeed, and 2:04 was the fastest time set by Jaden Chia. This might not be a 2:04 unless we could be sadly mistaken, as he comes now over the brow to the start finish line, keeps it straight. He'll go for a 205.5. So one more lap around Road America it is.
Yeah, so again, from what we saw, it wasn't really the cleanest lap. There was some mistakes that could happen. These cars aren't we haven't actually seen these cars go around here yet, so we don't really have that much of an idea as to how they'll handle the high-speed sections here. You can see Jaden Chia now in clean air, running on his hot lap. They'll set a 204, so we'll have to see if we'll be able to match that in qualifying right now. Very fast out of turn 11 there. Ooh, putting almost 2 wheels on the grass. You can see sparks coming out of the underside of that BMW. Into, I think this is the Canada corner. Yes, it is. It's the Canada corner. You can see the difference in the lines. You think Jaden's line is a bit tight. So you have to be careful where the point where the curve ends, because if you put too much of your car onto the grass, that counts as a cut, so your lap gets invalidated.
Yep, and let's see if this lap counts for Jaden Chia, because at least if it doesn't, he will have one more run next time by.
Yeah, he's gonna make it to the start finish straight just with 30 seconds left on the clock, so he does have one more lap. Can't say the same for the other cars though. That is fast, 204.6.
Get out of here. That is quick there from Jaden. And I think he can check out now, but looks as though he's going for yet another run, as we're going to go to Kanzani Ramdani, his chief championship rival. 1 point separate between them coming this round, so it could not get any more tighter than this, Damon.
Yeah, Kazani Radani now on his fast lap, he won't be able to get another lap, unfortunately. This is going to be it, so as long as he doesn't make any mistakes. Oh, it just went a little bit wide there. I jinxed it yet again.
Just as he said it, he goes wide here. But crucially though, he is third on the grid. If he could just get ahead of Chester Lam, he can at least minimize damage. The both of them will be in the exact same points coming into the final round.
Here we go onto the start finish straight. Let's see if he can make it onto the board. He's still in second right now. He's 0.17 seconds behind Chester Lam. Coming out to the start finish straight. Will he be able to improve on his time? He does, in fact, 205.4. But
6,000.
Yeah. So Chester is 6 thousandths of a second behind him.
And he stays.
Unfortunately, he wasn't able to improve his time.
Oh, Iman Ryan! Iman Ryan goes out to P2. That takes another point away. So, by our count, that is the championship lead now in Jaden Chia's hands. But with the 2 points that he has been taking off for this one, he is going to be behind by just another point again, despite being on pole position.
Yeah, Imari and Kate come out of nowhere to play spoiler to Kazani Radani. Means he will be starting in the front of the pack right now. But Jaden is still on his final qualifying lap.
Yep, here he comes then to Canada corner. Oh, very wide. In fact, he's been taking that very wide line. Very tight on the entry, but very wide on the exit. So he will try to minimize turning too much of the wheel. Oh, that's too wide that time around. Coming up to turn 13. Luckily for him, he kept it together. Coming to 14 here, but that may have actually stuffed up his lap. And he does. So, just as I called it, he goes into the pit lane and calls it quits. But that doesn't matter too much for him. It's pole position by an incredible 7/10 of a second in a class that's normally very close.
Okay, so if I'm not gonna say anything if Copper Class has anything to go by. Let's just hope and pray and touch a lot of wood that everything is fine. You make it through without any incidents.
Indeed, as Kinetic Rhyme once again chimes in and says, another round of racing. Yes, sirree, he is absolutely right. And this one is a class that normally delivers some of the best action. But this year, all classes, including gold and silver, that normally comes out to just a demonstration of who can dominate the most, has been providing some good action. So bronze, not all the time provides the best racing throughout the entire year in terms of festivities, but it still provides us with an absolutely amazing championship backdrop with 1 point separating two drivers coming into this round, and it's still a 1 point difference between these two.
Okay, so we got 20 seconds before the cars go onto the grid right now. What are you expecting to see, Evo?
Not as chaotic as the MX-5, but we could be wrong as well. But at least not that many cars on track, we could see more calm racing. Plus, championships on the line. Some drivers will be more circumspect, in particular Jaden Chia and Ramdani. The other drivers outside of that will probably just be playing for keeps.
I think the opposite might happen, is that when it comes to points and how close you are in contention to winning the entire thing, you probably want to go all out.
Certainly. As certain drivers would definitely be going more all out than others. Speaking of drivers who might be going all out, here's Audi Devanugraha right at the back, P18, a long run up to turn 1, so that's the view from his angle. A debutant here tonight as well, beside him, well, not debutant in the championship, but debutant in this class, Michele Balzaris, who is starting right in front of him. He will definitely be looking for a much better time compared to Bronze this season, Copper this season. He hasn't had the best of runs. He's starting P17. And beside him is Judiel Nuno Gonzalez, the younger brother of Francis Angelo.
Yeah, Francis Angelo is of course racing in gold class, so his younger brother will be hoping to follow in his footsteps, driving the Nismo GTR GT3 car.
That's quite brave though. The GTR may not be the best option compared to some of the other cars, but at least we love to see it's not one for trying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased to the GTR myself, but even I know that in this class particularly, it's not the most competitive. I mean, if we're talking Super GT, then yes, it's a dominating car. But of course, with the tighter restrictions that these cars have in relation to their production models, we might see a little bit of a disadvantage because it is a big car.
It is, but of course now it's being replaced by the Z in modern day Super GT. Back in the day as well, it was struggling as apart from a Bathurst win and several small wins in the Blancpain Endurance Series, the model has been phased out in GT racing due to the fact that it wasn't really competitive as a shell anymore. Anyway, enough waffling about real world stuff. We'll go virtual racing now with the front of the grid being occupied by Jaden Chia and beside him is Iman Ryan. Lights on the gantry come on, and when they go out, we'll be off for the final round of the season in bronze class for Global Edition 13. Race number 1 is underway, and it looks as though that might have been a very good-ish start for Jaden Chia, but Iman Ryan right beside him will be trying to get to the whole shot here as 5 BMWs, in fact 4 BMWs come in a row. In between both of them, you see Lukmano Hakim trying to go onto the grass to overtake as, oh, that's Ramdani! Ramdani's been spun around, Damon.
He lost it in turn 1. Oh, as I mentioned that, someone else has bottled it coming out of turn 1. And Kazani Ramdani manages to slip through unharmed. Yeah, Yongchen there will be the only loser of that particular exchange of a mistake that unfortunately came from himself. And Shuk Lee here in a very, very sleek jet black Z4.
Yep. Oh, there goes Chester!
We went way too fast there.
Way too fast, whacks the back of Jaden Chia, and that luckily did not send him out completely, but Imarayan gets up. What in the world happened there?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that we don't get replays, but Imarayan goes off there, goes a bit too fast out of turn 6. And Jaden Chia manages to skip past the lead, takes it away. Lumano Hakim close behind him in the Audi R8. And then just behind him, of course, is Iman Ryan. Is that Iman Ryan?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
No, it's Iman Ryan, yes.
And
behind him,
just in fourth phase, away from Dani. Closing out the pack. So this is now a battle for P1. Well, I say P1, but Jaden Chia is speeding off ahead right now, so it's battle for P2 instead, I should say. Kamzani Radani, very heavy on the throttle there. Was very high on the angle coming out of the carousel. 2 wheels on the grass as he enters turn 11 there. Another 2 wheels on the grass coming out there. Right now, Imarayan, I think he bottled it at the entry to the kick right now. Kazani Radani has to go onto the grass to get past it, but he does, and in fact, Imarayan ends up in P5.
Yes, but crucially though, Kazari Ramdani for the championship is right up in front. You can continue on this, I'll bring out the permutations.
Okay, so Jaden Chia is, where is Jaden? Okay, he's still in front. So Kazani Radani ends up going out wide there, all to T14. Coming out of T13, does have a good run up there. He might get it past Adam Daniel at the end of the straight with the slingshot, but Adam Daniel also has a slipstream on Lumano Hakim. You can see these cars are very close together, so they might see another intense turn 1. Adam Daniel makes it past. Now let's see if Kazani Radani can make it past as well. He's right in between the 2 cars as they're coming into turn 1 right now, side by side with Adam Daniel. Lumano Hakim being left in the dust. He makes it past both of them into turn 1. Does make it very fast indeed, very wide, but gets a contact where Adam Daniel and Lumano Hakim bottle each other up. Adam Daniel becomes the biggest loser of that exchange, and now he is down all the way to P7.
Oh wow, and it's all happening there in between the period, between the final corner and turn number 1. What a move for Kazani Ramdani to smack in between both of them and take away P2. That's crucial for his championship cause. He drove like a champion right there and certainly had the luck of a champion.
Yeah, he's going to have to win this one if he wants to stay comfortably ahead of Jaden Chia, ahead of race 2, but Jaden Chia is now 4 seconds in front, so it has to be some time before he'll be able to make up the gap right now. He has to contend with 2 other drivers on the back of his tail, Lumano Hakim and eMarian just behind him, waiting for him to make a mistake. It looks like he's going to keep it nice and tidy coming out of T7 there into turn 8.
Yep, in fact, points coming to this one. It's a 1 point drop for Kanzani Ramdani to Jaden Chia, but crucially, because Jaden is penalized for his qualifying, not penalized for qualifying, but penalized because he changed cars, it's a 1 point swing back to Ramdani's favor. So 75 to 74 coming into this one. Ramdani knows full well he's going to have to fight for all he's worth.
Yeah, he has to win this because if Jaden Chia wins this, he doesn't have a chance of clawing it back in race 2, even if he does win. So, very important for him to take this away from Jaden, but very important for Jaden to hold on to the lead for himself as well, because that means he pretty much has the championship in the bag as long as he can finish high in race 2 as well. So there are a lot of factors involved here, but eMarian is going to try and play spoiler for both of these drivers right now. Still behind Lumano Hakim in P4. Ooh, going a bit fast there out of the final corner into the start-finish straight, but still keeping it nice and tidy on the exit, and that would be Chilrong Lee just behind him, jumping up to P5 after what seems to be quite a very intense last lap that came out of the mistakes of a few drivers.
Yeah, Lukmano Hakim really was on the edge there. He has been a bit ragged ever since he got overtaken at the end of lap number, towards the start of lap number 2. Oh wow, they all go wide there. Chilrong Lee as well followed behind eMarian, but Lukmano Hakim was a bit ragged coming out of the final corner on the way to the start-finish line. He is really under severe pressure, though he has faced this before, especially given the fact that this is the same driver that held on tooth and nail for P2 in Nürburgring race number 2. Now he has to do the same thing again.
Yeah, you said that, but he bottled it a bit coming out of T3, went too far into the grass and lost a lot of speed there. eMarian and Chilrong Lee making it past him, and Lukmano Hakim's not giving up a position just yet. Tries to take the inside track, but isn't far enough ahead to close the deal on that pass. Does stay in P4 ahead of Chilrong Lee, but Jaden Chia is just going to be extending his lead. He's now up to 4 seconds in front of Ramdani, and Ramdani has to drive like a madman in order to keep up, but you don't want to go too far.
Oh yes, absolutely. And let's hope that Lukmano Hakim doesn't go too far here. Around the outside he goes. Nearly stuffs up his exit from turn number 8 all the way to the carousel, but manages to get back out to P3. And this is going well for Ramdani, isn't it? Because the more they fight, the more he can inch away from them.
Yeah, Lukmano Hakim wants to be able to make sure that eMarian doesn't get past him, but Chilrong Lee is just there, biding time, waiting for an attack. Coming out to T11 right now, just past the King, into the very long...
Poor exit.
Yeah, not a very good exit for him. Doesn't get the best speed out of there. That's unfortunate for him. That means eMarian is clear. Rajamiro Shaka tries to make it past Chilrong Lee. He's right behind on his tail right now. Lukmano Hakim takes it wide. So does eMarian. All the cars actually take it wide right now. But Rajamiro Shaka wants to try and make this pass happen. Hasn't had the best experience in the Bronze League. We all know that he's been dominant in the Copper League. And in fact, is considered to be the championship winner for this season, but hasn't had the same amount of luck in the Bronze League. So he wants to be able to make some stuff happen.
And indeed, he will have to go out on the high, despite the fact that Rajamiro Shaka did finish P4 in the first race at Watkins Glen. He will have to go a few times better here because the podium is still on the cards, currently being held by Lukmano Hakim, who has a better run this time round, coming up to the start-finish line. Holds off eMarian just for the time being. Chilrong Lee, though, looking absolutely racy. He's quite antsy right now to get ahead of the both of them.
Yeah, you can see it just in his inputs. He's trying to make it pass. He knows he's got the pace, but he hasn't been able to find an opportunity to make the pass happen right now. And it's so difficult in these cars because they're wider than the MX-5s. They are more likely to put 2 tires on the grass than the MX-5. They are more likely to lose grip than the MX-5s. And right now, grip is paramount, especially in these high downforce cars where letting off the throttle for just a little bit could unsettle the entire car.
And yep, or if you brake too late, you're going to have a massive accident, just like what happened at the start of the race just now with Chester Lam whacking the back of Jaden Chia. Luckily for Jaden, he got away with that one big time, and he manages to pull up a 5-second lead in front of Kanzani Ramdani. So he is doing what he needs to right now to ensure the championship is his.
Yeah. So the only thing Kanzani Ramdani can really hope for is that Jaden doesn't have a very good finish in race 2, so he can actually claw back the points. There is going to be a gap between them after this race, but it's all up to whether or not... basically, the championship is out of Ramdani's hands.
Yep. Well, not to say out of his hands. It's still within his hands, but he has to make do with scoring not as many points in race number 2 because he really needs to bank on the fact that reverse grip might come to his savior.
So what I meant by that is basically he has to wait. He has to make sure Jaden makes a mistake, and he ends up just not losing it. As you can see that Lumano Hakim still staving off Iman Ryan and Chuk Long Lee, but Raja Miroshakat is also hounding them, so this might be a battle for P3 right now. Lumano Hakim bottles it a little bit out of T13, coming into T14 right now. Doesn't have the best exit. Iman Ryan will be in the slipstream for the start-finish straight. So will Chuk Long Lee, so will Raja Miroshakat, and you can see right now they're right next to each other.
Yep, nose to tail between the two BMWs. Who's going to be the faster of the two? Chuk Long Lee had a better run across the start-finish line now. He goes around the outside here, which may not be the best maneuver because he doesn't have enough momentum. If only he was side by side, he could try that, but it was a half chance that never happened.
Oh, but he makes it on the inside, tries to make a pass there. He's right next to him out of turn 1, but he has to swerve back outside to make it into turn 2. Iman Ryan holds on to it. Very brave maneuver for him. Raja Miroshakat still behind him, but Iman Ryan goes wide there, and Chuk Long Lee seizes the opportunity.
Yep, that was a good exit there from Chuk Long Lee. Bad one for Iman Ryan, and he has to drop behind. So, for the time being, the two positions have been swapped between the two BMWs.
Oh,
whoa!
that's a bit of a swerve.
I'm not sure if you're allowed to do that because Chuk Long Lee was really just on the cuffs of potentially being in a grey area there. That was a very hard defense. And again, he ties it here on the inside for Iman Ryan. But it looks as though he might have to concede that particular position, or does he?
It doesn't look like it. He does have the inside track coming out into T7 right now. Very fast right-hander, but Raja Miroshakat is still behind him. It looks like he's good about to make his move.
He goes around the outside. Has to go the long way around here. Does he? Whoa. Okay, he couldn't make it through that time because Iman Ryan had to block the door on him. But Chuk Long Lee, on the other hand, has made up a position, and he's the faster guy among these three. He is setting his sights on the podium.
Yeah, wow, that was already intense, and I'm running out of saliva already just talking about it for the past 5 minutes. And just like that, we already have 5 minutes left on the race clock right now. Lumano Hakim, because of this battle for P4, is the biggest beneficiary of everyone else, just increasing the lead there. We go over to the back of the pack. Amiro Afi not having the best race.
No, and the fact that he is battling for P3 in the championship with Iman Ryan, well, he can say goodbye to that particular instance is thrown completely out of the window, knowing the fact that Iman Ryan is still in that top 5 and battling for the podium. Now, battle for the podium, back to it. It looks as though it's spacing out a bit, only just, but they might be able to reel in each other if Lumano Hakim and Chuk Long Lee start battling real hard.
That's all whether or not they can be able to keep up, but it does seem like Chuk Long Lee is faster overall throughout the track than Lumano Hakim is. The Z4s are very, very fast indeed. Probably the best cars, the cars most suited for this track despite the BOP adjustments. Just the shape of the car lends itself to how well these cars are balanced and how fast they can be. Very aerodynamic cars as well. Raja Miroshakat waiting behind, flashing his lights. Seems like he wants to try and make a move. We'll have to see whether or not he is able to do so as they're coming up to the actual T4 of this track right now, just behind Iman Ryan, still flashing his lights. Comes out the inside, you have to be very careful not to put too many wheels onto the grass there. Not a very great exit, but may be able to keep it up, keeping up the pressure just behind Iman Ryan. The gap is extending a little bit, so he's just not as fast as the BMWs through this sector.
Indeed, and in particular Chuk Long Lee, who has been hounding several drivers throughout the entire race, and he is ready now to do his next victim, which is Muhammad Lumano Hakim. And Lumano Hakim has shown that he can really defend his hardest to prevent guys from overtaking, and that showed, especially in Nürburgring. That was probably the best defensive drives of the entire season. This time though, Chuk Long Lee is probably going to be facing his chances here because Lumano Hakim looks as though he's a bit ragged in some places, and that was a very poor run out of the kink.
Yeah, it does end up scrubbing off a lot of speed coming down. I mean, Chuk Long Lee gets to seize his opportunity, comes out on the outside, out to Canada corner, doesn't make the pass stick. Unfortunately, does not get the best line out of it because Lumano Hakim was still on the inside. Here we go, T13, T14, means that he's going to be close enough for the slipstream if he makes it out of this corner in one piece. But Iman Ryan is behind, right on his tail, and it looks like it's going to be another 3-way battle for the podium. 4-way battle for the podium. Raja Miroshakat just behind him as well. Actually gets the good exit off. Does seem to pull us alongside Iman Ryan side by side. Has the drop from Chuk Long Lee a little bit, but just can't compete with the BMW in terms of straight line speed.
Yep, McLaren is a bit hampered there by the fact that he really doesn't have the top end compared to the BMWs, but he is actually good through the corners, and that paid dividends for almost a few split seconds. As he hits the back.
Shot.
Yeah, he hits the back of eRacing. Where did Iman go? He went completely straight off the grass, and that takes one driver out of the reckoning. But no doubt, Raja Amiro might be looked into for that.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him because it ends up losing. Both drivers end up losing out on that exchange because of that. He ends up losing time because he has to brake more in order to get control of his car back. That means Chulong Lee is now in a solo battle with Lukmano Hakim for P3 right now.
And again, I'm very amazed how Lukmano Hakim has defended P3 so well, knowing how guys who are much faster than further behind have been egging to overtake him. But to his credit, he has kept up the pace just enough to hold on to P3, but he has to do it for one more tour around the circuit.
Yeah, it does seem like he'll be able to make it past the start-finish straight just before the race clock runs out. Although I might be over... no, okay, it actually definitely will. Alright, so these drivers have one more lap separating them. Jaden Chia in a comfortable first place, 13 seconds ahead of Kazani Ramdani. There is no way that he's going to be able to catch up unless Jaden makes a catastrophic mistake, which doesn't seem very likely.
Yeah, 10 seconds ahead. Wow. Jaden really stepped his authority in this final round, and the change of cars may not be such a bad thing after all. Yes, he will lose 2 points from this one despite being on pole position, but he will no doubt be reaping the rewards from a very vindicated move as he comes across the start finish line now to start the final lap. Arms and elbows out in the final 2 minutes. Indeed, kinetic rhyme with the battles that have been going on right here, right now, and it's still not over, especially that the battle for the podium is still on here.
Chulong Lee is making big pass, but it's the last lap. He doesn't have anything else going for him.
Yes, what does he have left in the tank here? One final roll of the dice and one final lap for Muhammad Lukmano Hakim to prevent the Hong Kong driver from overtaking. He has done an absolutely stellar job in this defense. Does he have anything left in the tank to do one more defensive job here?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. This is again very fast corner, so anything can happen. If you slip up even once, that could be the end of your race, and especially for this particular position, Lukmano Hakim will probably concede another position to Raja Amir Shamkat if he bottles it. So Chulong Lee now coming in for the attack, coming into turn 4 right now, breaking at the 100-meter mark. Ooh, just a bit late on the brakes there. Hands up, going a little bit wide. Lukmano Hakim still seizes the lead away, dangling it in front of Chulong Lee, trying to bait him into making a mistake as well.
Yep. Wow, good defensive job there from Lukmano Hakim as we're trying to cycle through the camera to see the view from behind. There it is. That is the camera that we want to see right now. How close can Chulong Lee get in the slipstream as there's a battle between Adam Daniel and Chester Lam with a very damaged car, in fact, for Chester Lam. He's been through the war and back and then some.
Oh, okay, so this race, that particular battle probably doesn't matter as much as it is for a podium finish, because a podium finish is of course very important. Chulong Lee letting off on the throttle there, coming into the king. Lukmano Hakim seems like he actually took it quite flat.
Yeah, he took it better that time round, so at least he manages to inch himself in front of Chulong Lee. But out of the final corner comes Jaden Chia, and that is first blood in this finale in the bronze class. He takes victory, and we'll be checking as well to get the live scores ready because the fastest lap is still going to be so important between the two of them. There goes Chia across the line. First place for him. Second will be Ramdani. But third place is going to be a battle across the line. Muhammad Lukmano Hakim has actually lost it here. The drive out of the line.
Oh.
How close will it be between the both of them?
They're
Here it comes. Photo finish. Oh! Lukmano Hakim by just a 10th in front of Chulong Lee. What a battle between these guys. It was a race-long battle that went all the way to the end, and Lukmano Hakim for 2 races this season has done a stellar defensive job. If you want to take a leaf out of one's book for defensive driving, Lukmano Hakim has to have a chapter about that one.
Chulong Lee will not be particularly happy with that, but P4 is still nothing to sneeze at, of course. Drove his heart out, trying to catch up, had to try and capitalize on a mistake by Lukmano Hakim at the end there, but it's truly unfortunate. However, does mean that he will start side by side with Lukmano Hakim in the next race.
Yes, that would be quite awkward for the both of them because they'll be much closer this time and on the grid. But, wow, Bronze absolutely delivered an absolutely stonking race. And we're just only in for the appetizer for the finale. Now, don't mind us, we're going to check in the background here who got the fastest lap of the race. And it looks as though, surprise, surprise, it's Jaden Chia. So Jaden takes the fastest lap of this one, and he takes the extra points out of it. So, Damon, continue talking while I go through the championship permutations here.
Well, there's nothing left to do except wait for race 2 to begin. Of course, we're going to have a reverse grid start. That means Jaden Chia will be starting P10, Kamzani Rondani in P9, Lomano Hakim in P8, with Chok Long Lee in P7. And the other 6 cars on the grid, in fact, are going to be jostling for the positions, shall we say. Iman Ryan is going to be a bit incensed that his race ended up being cut short by a mistake from Raja Amir Sharkat. Raja Amir Sharkat, of course, will be starting in P6.
Right. So, championship reputations on the line here. Jaden Chia is now 6 points ahead of Kanzani Ramdani by virtue of the fact that he won the race and took the fastest lap. So, 6 points in it between then. And if things go to plan for Jaden, he will be able to win the championship, even if he finishes second by just a handful of points. So, here's what it looks like. 15 points for the win in race number 2, plus the fastest lap.
Yep.
And 12 for second, 10 for third. That is the all-important thing right now.
So, the only thing Ramdani has to hope for is that he manages to finish first and Jaden doesn't finish second. Anything below P3 is fine with him. That means he secures the championship. If Jaden stays in front of the pack and stays in P2, then, well, it's curtains for Ramdani's championship this season. P2 is still nothing to scoff at, of course, but all the glory history is defined by the winners.
Absolutely. And in this case, the spoils will go to the ones who have gone through the war in the end as the victor. So, well, can't wait for race number 2. Then we're going to jump back onto the screen and start immediately going into what's going to be the most important race 2 of the entire season.
Yeah, so some of these drivers, of course, Jaden Chia, we're going to see him starting P10. Right next to Kamzani Ramdani. These cars are going to be starting side by side. There is no 1-2 sequence for these drivers. They will be starting. I mean, there is a little bit.
Yep. So, this is Jaden Chia's view. Beside him, Kazari Ramdani.
Okay.
We're gonna set this. We're gonna set the scene
set
here.
the tone here. I'll see all these flashing lights. I'm blinded by them.
Yes.
Just like the song. Okay, so let's see who's in front. We of course have
Devanugraha.
Devanugraha didn't finish in P10 last race. Will hope to do better. And just in behind him is Chris
Chu.
I can't see the name from here.
Yeah, Chris Chu with a
Yeah.
good finish there.
Yeah.
And Odi Devanugraha. Unfortunately, we cannot see this in this particular camera. He's running the Hatsune Miku car, so that's a nice little touch there. Good smile livery. Of course, that particular team won a Super GT Championship.
Yep. The GT 500 class, of course. These cars are also. Oh, sorry, GT 300. Yes.
Okay, so Pacha Kodut, he's supporting for Iman Ryan. There he is, starting P6 on the grid. A couple of slots behind his teammate for Black Speed Racing, the Brunei team, Adam Daniel, who had been up there or thereabout, at least until he got chucked into the barriers.
Yeah. So, okay, we've got
Right.
about 45 seconds right now.
Yep.
Kind of hoping that. What am I hoping for? I'm just hoping for a clean race, but we all know that's not gonna happen.
Let's hope those are not famous last words.
Yeah.
Right,
The
so
actual jinx of the commentators.
yes. As Jairo Ramadan, the very last driver at the back of the field. Well, he's driving his car quite quickly. He's trying to waste a bit of fuel as the car is idling. Then we're gonna go back up to the front. This is Odi Devanugraha. Lights come up onto the gantry. Revs rise. The heat wave will definitely be seen. You can see there. It's right on the gantry. You can see the lights come on. Heat haze goes into the distance. And when they go out, the final time for bronze goes out this season. And that's a very good launch off the line for Odi Devanugraha. No one stalled it on the grid this time as all 18 cars go clear off the line. Coming up to turn 1 then. This is Devanugraha getting the whole shot away from Chris Chu. Chester Lam goes onto the inside then. So at least everyone goes through safely. Yes, they do. So part of the jinx has been
You
cleared.
spoke too soon! That's Jaden Chia!
Oh, Jaden! No, that's Jaden indeed. It is. He gets taken out and smacks into the side of Amir Rafiq. And Amir Rafiq comes to a complete dead stop. So I think he was going to retire. I really spoke too soon there.
You
David.
actually did. You have to wait for them to finish clearing the corner before you talk about that kind of stuff. Okay, Adi Devanugraha comfortably in front. Chastelam just behind him, trying to make it enter into turn 4 right now.
And he makes it cleanly this time.
Making clean this time. Devanugraha had to slow down a bit too much. Imarayan is still in front of Raja Amir Shaukat. Gonna have to be careful with these two. Don't want to repeat what happened last race. Lumano Hakim just behind them, alongside Chris Chu in the Z4. And just behind them is Kazani Radani, who needs to win this race in order to secure the win.
Yes, as Lumana Hakim now is on the offensive. He was on the defensive last time out. Well, that's a change. That's a role reversal and a half completely. But we're going to focus on the championship rivals a bit more now, because this is where it comes up to. This is Ramdani on the back of Chris Chu, a former champion himself, but he hasn't had the best of runs in the past couple of seasons. At least he's going to go on a high here so far in a top 10 finish. But Ramdani, though, will love to get a few more points out of him, as his main championship rival, Jaden Chia, is out of it for the time being. P16 way behind. And there you go. Easy maneuver for Ramdani up to P6.
So P6 for Kazani Radani does have a very nice exit out of the king into the Canada corner right now. Mo Yongxian right behind him in the Audi R8. Sorry, that has to be very, very difficult for these drivers right now, especially Jaden Chow, who is in. Ramdani almost loses it just a little bit coming out of the Milman bed.
Yep, and a few other drivers nearly coming across, including Mano Hakim, who was really on the edge in the previous race. He's up now behind Raja Miroshaka. This will be an interesting battle between the two drivers who are on role reversals, because normally one is defensive and one is offensive. Now it's the guy who's defensive is attacking onto the inside coming to turn 1. Raja Miroshaka really laid off the gas there. Luckily, he didn't clatter the back of him. And there is Audi Devanugraha, our pole sitter, having to defend from the both of them. As comes on the inside goes Raja Miroshaka. There's the Hatsune Miku livery in full view. And there goes Raja Miroshaka and Lumana Hakim coming by.
So now Kazani Radani has to make it past Devanugraha.
Will
he be able to? That's the big consideration we have to take into account, because of course Devanugraha, despite holding on to the lead early on in the race, wasn't fast enough to the rest of the track to hold it. But can Kazani Radani make it through? He does go on the outside of turn 4, doesn't make it past him. Mano Hakim goes very, very wide there. Still manages to hold on in front of the position over Raja Amir Shaukat. But Shaukat has the inside track coming out to T5.
Oh, this is a good view.
Side by side right now, but Lumana Hakim edges slightly ahead into the very fast right-hander of T7. Kazani Radani still trying to make it past Devanugraha as they're coming to turn 8.
Oh, I'm going to have to do the calculations after this, but the action on track is absolutely frenetic. Around the outside goes Ramdani. That's a brave move, but that's a good move because it goes back onto the inside for him and takes P5 away from Devanugraha as he now sets his sights on the podium to consolidate his championship chances here. Remember, 6 points separate between himself and Chia coming into this final round. Chia's out of it for the time being. He's in P15, still no points as he comes up. Ooh, that's very close. In fact, I think P5 would just clinch the title for Ramdani because that is enough for the win here. But he still has to make sure of it. He wants to overtake us. Lumana Hakim
bottles it a little bit on the exit of the Canada corner. Raja Amir Shaukat tries to make an opportunity happen, but the McLaren itself is far too wide to make an attempt at that particular section of the track. Tries to make it into T14. He does have a nicer line through there, going a bit wide. Doesn't seem to have the fastest exit speed, however. Lumana Hakim might edge ahead a little bit. He is still in the draft, so he might be able to slingshot past, but the McLaren isn't known for his top-end speed, especially in a track like this. That means Kazani Radani is going to be inching closer and closer. The gap right now is about 6/10. Raja Amir Shaukat is flashing his lights, asking Lumana Hakim to let him through. Lumana Hakim not reciprocating that. Coming out into T1, Kazani Radani, ooh, he's so much faster than those two cars coming out of it.
Well, they have to be careful there because the grass can easily catch them out. As we saw what happened to Jaden Chia, completely lost it, and his championship is hanging on by a thread as Lumana Hakim's defense is coming almost a cropper there, and it's unraveling. There you go. It has been unraveled, and there goes Raja Amir Shaukat up to P3. But Kazani Ramdani has to be careful here. He doesn't want to actually hit the both of them. Coming up to turn number 5 now, on the inside. He's going to get the both of them. Yes, he does. Outbreaks. Yeah, but he outbreaks Raja Amir Shaukat. Look, Lumana Hakim goes on the inside. Is this going to be a move for Lumana Hakim? Yes, he somehow manages to maintain P3 out of all of that with going side by side here. Raja Amir Shaukat and Kazani Ramdani. Ramdani takes P4, and with that, the championship by just 2 points.
Ramdani has to hold on to his lead. We still have 9.5 minutes before the end of the race right now. Lumana Hakim bottles it a little bit out of T8 into the carousel. Doesn't mean he has the best exit speed, but he can play defensive. As we've seen from the last race, he's very good at defending his position. But where Kazani Radani is fastest on the kink right now as he comes into turn 11. You can see he has a very nice run up there, but he has to let up on the throttle, otherwise he's going to cause an incident. Turns it really hard there, puts 2 wheels on the grass, loses a little bit of speed. Shaukat is now right behind him, gunning for that P4 spot. Now coming to Canada corner right now, he's side by side with Kazani Radani as he comes into it. Radani has the inside track on the corner. Shaukat has to go a bit wide there, loses the position just as quickly as he gained it. Coming into turn 13.
Oh wow, we need to take some deep breaths right now as Kinetic Rhyme chimes in. Everybody is aggressive for the final race of the season and it's really entertaining. Absolutely, it is very entertaining actually. As Lukman Hakim now, we're going to have to go on board with him. This is what it looks like from his rear wing. He's got someone in his draft and it's Kazani Rabdani. Rabdani goes on the outside. Again, Lukman Hakim with another defensive job today. He is one of the toughest guys to overtake in this class. But unfortunately for this time, Rabdani's on the grass. Rabdani's on the grass, nearly loses it and cuts across and takes away P3. That's another championship point that he takes away.
That's a pretty big cut, but it seems that it will be a clean overtake for him. Makes it past Lumano Hakim. One of our hardest drivers overtake. As Lumano Hakim bottles it, Shaukat also bottles it, going off on the track right now. That gives Devanugraha opportunity to make it past both of them and cinch P3 away.
P4.
Oh yeah, P4, yeah.
What an absolutely amazing race. And that P3 battle has been rescinded for the time being. We're looking at some way further behind. This is outside the points, of course, with Mikhail Zarizikbal, who's happy to be in a class that doesn't have drivers cluttering him every now and then. So he's running up P11. He did score points in the first race. Unfortunately for the second race, he's out of it for the time being. Adam Daniel only about 0.4 of a second behind. And where is our old mate, Jaden Chia? Wow, look at that, the state of that car. Absolutely wrecked.
Not in the best shape, and as well, he will be P13. Is that out of the points? Yeah, it's out of the points right now. So he won't be getting any points for this race unless he makes up positions or he capitalizes on other drivers' mistakes, which doesn't look like it will happen because most of the drivers are running in clean air right now. Aside from the battle between the front runners here for that podium spot, Kazani Radani is now 2 seconds clear of Devanugraha, but Devanugraha is far from clear. Lumano Hakim, you can see him still on the tail. Rajamir Shaka is pulling out for the battle as of now, but he's still waiting for an opportunity to make something happen. Lumano Hakim not very smooth to the exit of the Canada corner right now. Coming to T13, this will catch a lot of cars off guard. If you go too fast, as you can see, Lumano Hakim just keeps it sliding out of a turn. Coming into T14.
And there's Ngo Yon Jian, who's driving actually the older version of the Audi R8 LMS Ultra. This is the Audi LMS. In fact, this is not the Ultra version, but what a brave man to do so for battling against cars that are slightly newer. As Chutlon Lee, who battled so hard all the way to the line with Lukman Hakim, is now having another BMW Club company. This time is the BMW of Chris Chu for Element Motorsports, a former champion, of course, as we mentioned earlier. Side by side they go, and there is Chutlon Lee up to P9. Now, it sort of died out a bit, but I believe the final 5 minutes is where it's really going to kick off.
Yeah, also that depends on how close these cars are when it comes to where it matters. Lumano Hakim is still 0.7 of a second behind Devanugraha, but Rajamir Shaukat is 0.3 behind him. So again, this is going to be V battle to look out for. P4, this is the closest contention there. Lumano Hakim breaks quite a bit early there, gives Shaukat time to catch up, going a bit wide into that T5, not actually T5. Coming into T6 past the Corvette bridge. Mo Yongjian just behind him, trying to make it past Ahmad Jusmin in the other Z4.
Well, a couple of battles to look at for right now. This is between Yongjian and Jusmin and Amir Rashad. There we go. You can see both of them right at the top of the screen. But for the time being, at least, positions are not changing unless something happens coming up to Canada corner. That's the prime overtaking spot. Oh! Just as I said, the positions change, and there we go. Yongjian gets...
Brother!
Oh, wow. How many times have we said that this
What
season?
a terrible night to have a curse.
Oh, yes, Castlevania reference.
Yes. Oh, he makes it way out of that kick. So much faster than Lumano Hakim did. He might have lost it there. That goes his opportunity to make a move as they come into the Canada corner. They are side by side. Lumano Hakim has to give space while Raja Miroshaka takes the inside track. And Raja Miroshaka makes that pass happen like it was nothing. Lumano Hakim really bottled the entry out of the kink there.
Yeah, normally you could see him putting out really good defensive drives. That time around, he couldn't defend much because his car was all out of shapes of all sorts coming out of the kink. And luckily for him, he manages to keep it together, not taking anybody out with him. as Chill Lonely now sets his sights on Ahmad Jusmin with a couple of drivers for the behind ready to fight it as well. I thought Yongjan was actually close to Chris Chu for a second. Then
It was until he span out because you cursed him.
Oh yes, that's right. Now then, Chill Lonely with Ahmad Jusmin coming out to turn 1. Chill Lonely looking for a second turn 1 overtake maneuver in 2 laps. Not any way through this time, but he is absolutely close. Cuts across onto the inside on the way to turn number 3. He's looking left, looking right, but Jusmin holds his line there, and he has every right to go left and right because Chill Lonely is the attacking driver.
Yeah, but Chololi does have a better run up coming down now side by side onto the back straight of T4. That's not actually T4, past Cheesehead. Right now they are still side by side, so it is a test of courage to see who breaks later as they're coming into the big left-hander. Chololi quite late on the brakes there, but Justin still has the inside track on the line, and the shot there actually beneficial to Chololi because Justin is the one that initiated the contact, but loses out on that, and that goes Chris Chu, passing him, taking that position away as well.
Yep, and that allows the other drivers on the fringe points to have at least a crack at it. Oh, Chris Chu actually probably had a bit of a slight touch between himself and Ahmad Jusmin. So at least these guys are going out with a bang because this is good. This is good battles between all of them.
Yeah, and there goes Go Yongjian trying to make up the positions he lost earlier on, right on the tail of Chris Chu. He's a man on a mission. He wants to get back his position. Oh wow, I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Coming out into the carousel right now, does have a better run up.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it, however, it does seem that this battle might be over before it even began.
Well, actually, we still have a few laps left to go here. Remember, we ran up to lap 8. So for some of the guys who are doing defensive jobs, they gotta have a few more laps to go to do it. It's a battle between 5 cars here as Yongjan looks onto the inside of Chris Chu with Mikazari's Iqbal also looking for a bit dink, and that forced Yongjan off wide. Adam Daniel right behind is also ready to take the pair of them.
Yeah, he might have accidentally exceeded the track limits there, so there might be an issue on that particular front, but Adam Daniel in the back there. Low rumbling V8 of the AMG GT trying to make a move happen. Mikhail Iqbal doesn't seem to have a very nice line there, but neither does Adam Daniel on the exit. Now it's a start-finish straight. They're all in each other's slipstream, so we might see some slingshots and shenanigans happening on later in the straight before they make it into T1. Doesn't look like it. The gap between the two cars is still very huge. But if you go over to the front right now, Lomano Hakim and Amir Shaukat are still in a battle for P5.
Yeah, in fact, Raja Amir Shaukat has to do the defensive job here. Lumana Hakim attacking drivers, that's what he normally doesn't really do because he normally is defending for position. But this time, he is actually going all-out attack to take a final top 5 position of the season. He has had a stellar out for a couple of rounds. Yes, a stellar season so far. Yes, he finished P2. Oh! He finished P2 in Nürburgring. I was about to say that, but he nearly rammed at the back of Raja Amir Shaukat just as I was waxing lyrical about it.
Yeah, Raja Amir Shaukat may have braked a little bit too early for that particular corner, but it seems Lomano Hakim had to defend himself accordingly because he tried to go for the late brake, but he was right behind, so he had to avoid Moyong Ten here in the bright orange, bright yellow lights of the Audi R8 LMS Ultra. This is the 2011 model. We can see right now. Thereabouts. It's the first gen model. Trying to make it past Chris Chu, still hasn't been unable to make headway. Coming out, this will be, I think they might still have one more lap in them.
Yeah, at least, one more lap. Where is Chester Lab? Because we haven't really talked much about him. There's Chester. He's been able to streak out in the front of the pack as Raja Brishaka is attacking the Hatsune Miku car of Audi Devanugraha. It goes around the outside. That's a very brave move. He's going to have to use all the road on the outside to take it. But no, Devanugraha holds firm, and for the time being at least, they go still side by side. Oh, I can't believe they're still battling here. Devanugraha shuts the door on Shaukat, and Lumanaki goes onto the grass for good measure, trying to catch up to the both of them. It's all kicking off here in the final round of the season.
Okay, this is going to be the last lap for these drivers right now. I think Raja Amir Shaukat has one more lap to make the magic happen. Will he be able to make it past Devanugraha? Does seem to be quite a bit faster on these cars, but we have to look at Kamsani Ramdani in P3 right now because he is actually catching up to Iman Rayyan just behind him. Goes mid wide on T1 there, but Iman Rayyan goes tight on T1. That means he loses quite a bit of speed as he's coming into turn 2. Kazani Radani right on his tail right now. This is a big straight coming. Kazani Radani, 2 wheels on the grass, almost loses it. Okay, brake test the courage, coming into turn 4, past Cheesehead. Right now, it has to be here before it has to be anywhere else. What the heck was that line I just said? That didn't make any sense there. Okay, Kazani Radani Again, two wheels on the grass. You have to be very careful.
Oh.
You don't lose grip on that corner
Or
there.
if we have to go look back at the battle between the fringe points runners because Adam Daniel has gotten ahead of Ngong Yongjan. Yongjan actually dropped a couple of races further behind. Jusmin has managed to make a beeline for it. And because Aris Iqbal's in the points, or Boli just because he's got Adam Daniel further behind. We're going to go back to the battle for P2 very soon as long as we can see how this has transpired. For the time being, it looks as though it's even Stevens despite a couple of drivers going off there. But Lumana Hakim is still under attack, is still attacking Raja Amri Shaukat. And Ramdhani has one final chance here coming out of the carousel into Canada corner.
Oh, he goes very wide there, almost loses control of it, but has been able to keep it under control because this entire race, very good on him. Very excellent driving. Ooh, coming in a bit too tight onto the kick. Loses quite a bit of speed there, but he's still on track to catch up with Iman Ryan as they enter the Canada corner right now. Another brake test to see who's braver on the brakes right now. Kazani Radani right on his tail, but it doesn't look like he has any moves left to make. As they're coming out with T14. Raja Amir Shaukat now tries to make a move on the Devon.
He's got outbrake, he's got outbrake.
He's gone way too late on the brakes and now he goes really wide and he might lose a position to Rumano Hakim as well.
Oh, wow. And out of all of that, we're going to have to go back to Chester Lam. Comes across the line, takes victory, his first of the season. What a way to do so at the end of the season. Further behind, Ramdhani. Is it going to be across the line again? Photo finish. Oh, just missed out. Now, we're going to focus on Odi Devanugraha. Is he going to hold on to P number 4? Yes, he does in front of Shaukat. And Lumana Hakim with Chill Lonely. Another photo finish with Lumana Hakim. 2 races in a row. He gets beaten out by the Indonesian. What an amazing finish on both counts in both races. But our champion spinning into the gravel trap for sure is Kazani Ramdhani. What an epic final round of the season as more drivers come across the line. Adam Daniel takes points away from Mikael Iqbal, slides as well for good measure. Yongjan finishes outside of it. Chris Chu P9, Ahmad Juspin 8. It's secondary characters in an absolutely epic battle that we just had in this race. And I think, to be fair, we might just need to interview one of them. And the first guy we have on our camera right now is Raja Amir Shaukat. We didn't get to talk to him for his copper championship win, but now we get to do so in bronze after sensational racing on all counts. Now, can we get him on board?
Take it away. He's still conversing with his, I'm going to assume it's his race director. Shaukat, can you hear us?
Nah,
Yeah, he's not listening to us.
just mute him for now.
No, there he is. He's just.
Oh, he just heard us. Yes. Raju, can you hear us?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello. Yes. Raju, amazing racing in bronze. Of course, congratulations in copper. You are well and truly champion in there. But before we talk about the copper races, how does it feel like to race in bronze in absolutely epic battles with all your competitors?
Yeah, it feels so much better than copper because you know the more competitive it is, the more fun I can have. But yep, I think I can fight for bronze for the next season. I'm hungry for more. I'm not gonna stop here.
Absolutely. And we have Yul, our Axel Johor guy in the background there looking over. You've been talking to him to run the place for a while. But yeah, copper class wasn't the best of rounds for you, but it was an amazing season overall, isn't it, for you, Raja? You've really come up fighting for this one.
Yep. I just do my best for this bronze because actually I'm aiming to win the copper one because that is my main objective. And luckily I won that. And for this bronze, I think I'm just looking for my pace. And now I can see that I have the pace. So let's see how it goes for the next season.
And indeed, you might want to improve a bit on the door-to-door battling because you did ram the back of somebody in race number 1. So probably that's something you need to work on as well, right?
Yep, I missed my braking point actually, and I hit Iman Ryan at the back.
Yeah, I think one of his supporters may not be happy with that one. But apart from that, absolutely amazing season. Congratulations on the Copper Championship, and looking forward to see you in Bronze Class next season full-time.
Sure, thank you.
All right, thank you. Now, yeah, I think we don't have either both of the championship protagonists in bronze for this one, but Jaden would definitely be very disappointed in that final race. If he weren't for that accident, he would have had a much closer one. But I think for sure, it's safe to say Kanzani Ramdhani is your champion in the bronze class. And what an epic title fight that we had. Epic 2 races that we had in bronze as well. And we're still going to have more with an even closer championship fight with not just 2 drivers, but 3 drivers. That's what we're looking out for in the gold class, Damon.
Yeah, and for silver and gold class, we'll be right back after these short messages. But when we do, get ready and buckle your seatbelts.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
Well then, welcome back here for Global Edition Season 13, round number 4 at Road America. And we're here for an exciting conclusion, the crescendo to the season in what has been an amazing season so far for all involved. But there can only be one winner from both silver and gold. And we will set the tone right now for what's to come with the championship standings, Damon.
Yeah, so right now they're about to get ready to enter qualifying. So just really quickly, we're going to take a look at the standings. Bloody Marley, of course, very much dominating the silver class over the past few rounds, standing high and above, 66 points clear of second place Muhammad Zikri. And even if you take into consideration the drop scores, he's still about 30 points ahead. So all he has to do is finish into the points. He's pretty much got this entire season in the bag.
Absolutely, but the big difference come out after this is in the gold class. Oh boy, that's what we're very excited for. We're really shaking right now.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen? Because Naqib Aslan may be leading by about 27 points in front of Demaria Hasnam because Demaria had one bad round here. But if we flip the script on its head, oh boy, look at that! Out of nowhere, Nabil Aslan, despite missing one round, is 2 points ahead of his brother, teammate and chief championship rival, with Hasnam only just 20 points behind. Mathematically, all three of them are still able to bring this all the way to the final lap.
Yeah, we're gonna head right out to qualifying as these drivers are just all leaving the pit lane in a big mess of GT1 and GT2 cars. Colorful things, but Keith more importantly stays ahead. Takujan is just right behind him in the M3 GT2 right now. But you're gonna be really careful. You want to space yourself out for this outlap. You can see a couple of drivers in the pit right now, Faris Aksan being one of them. But for the rest of these drivers, they're going to have to contend with a lot of dirty air.
Yeah, well, not to say dirty air compared to F1 cars, but still, it's not the best to be staying behind another driver. And Mariano Axonocom knows that full well. He's gotten ahead of the legendary Prince of Drift from Malaysia, Tengku Jan, nearly runs wide into the back of Keith Moore, and that lets Jan back right behind him. This is not the race, by the way, folks. This is actually qualifying. So the way that they're behaving right now is as if this is a full-on race, as a couple of other guys come through our shot with some interesting cars, including Francis Angel Gonzalez, returning again with the Maserati. Oh, quite a slapped-on car, not gonna lie. I wish that a lot of people chose the Maserati more, but it will definitely be making a return for next season.
Yeah, definitely. I was in the last round when he first picked this car up. I missed it and I saw it in debut. I was like, wow. Really insane that someone drove that. And of course it was Francis Angelo Gonzalez, who, as we all remember, did bring out the Koenigsegg in round 1. Wasn't too successful with it, so he swapped back to a different car for the next round.
Oh!
Big slide there for Francis Angelo Gonzalez again. Problem with mid-engine cars is that you have to make sure they stay happy through these high-speed sections.
Nearly ran into the front of Sai Prithvi Sudhakar. Sudhakar comes through. Yeah, he wants to get clean air right now, but more importantly, where are our championship protagonists? In particular, Nabil Aslan, he's actually behind Tengku Jan, so at least he's got a fast guy to contend with, albeit in the GT2 car. Where is Naqib Aslan, who's actually racing here in Axel Studios? Oh, it's a traffic jam back there, and he's forcing a couple of drivers behind him to actually slow, including Demaria Hasnam. Wowee, what are the odds that both championship rivals are in the same vicinity?
Okay, so I think you should take us away for this time around.
Yes,
as
indeed.
They're coming out into the qualifying lap for the very first time this session.
Indeed, we're actually on board with Hasnam because he is another one of the championship rivals. Mathematically possible, but he is a big outsider coming to this one. On the way to turn number 1 here, we take it in 3rd gear. Just carefully, gingerly come back on the throttle, use a bit of the road on the outside, and then some to sling the car around, coming up to turn number 2. Somehow it's called turn 2, when it's just a slight kick into turn number 3. Look at how he actually just dances the car around through turn number 3. He grabs the apex mid-corner, uses, I think, a bit of traction control, because it looks as though the car had some form of traction control there, so that's why not much opposite lock. Onto the back straight, turn number 4, into 5. We can still see Naqib Aslan in front of him and Aryadi Vishnu. Naqib makes a slight mistake coming through turn number 5 there. That might affect his qualifying this time around. And look at that. He's only about a few tenths ahead of Demaria Hasnam, as Keith Moore says the early pace of 205.4. But of course, that's just the banker lap. Only drivers coming out of the pits. We'll see the true full potentials coming soon. Out of turn number 7 then. Hasnam pounding the back of Naqib Aslan. Naqib would not be liking this one bit. He knows full well that he has to beat not only his brother but also his other main championship rival, Demaria Hasnam, here in order to reclaim a championship that he last won in Global Edition 7. So really then, pressure's on for both the Stratos boys and the MPR GP car, Demario Hasnam, who also would love to complete this season out on a high after such a strong run in Endurance Edition. Through the kink. The carousel just now looks as though both of them were carrying the same amount of speed, so at least they're still within earshot of each other. Through the kink as well was quite clean. Turn number 12, the Canada corner. Oh, slight lockup as well. You can see a bit of smoke coming out of Hasnam's car, so he had to grab that corner quite fast, otherwise he would have gone straight off. And luckily, he used a bit of the exit on the outside there to compensate for it. Through turn number 13, relatively not so much histrionics involved. The car was jumping around a bit. Sparks fly on Nakib's car out of the final corner. It looks as though he's gained a bit of time on Hasnam. But across the line then, it's going to be Nabil Aslan 202 flat. Where's Nakib? 201.8. What a lap time. Despite the mistakes, he manages to get ahead of his brother by 0.2 of a second. And only 5,000 separate him, Nabil and Demario Hasnam. Game on here between the three championship protagonists.
And you want to keep as much time as possible to stay in the front of the pack for the race itself, because it is going to be chaotic at the start of the race, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, 0.005 of a second separate Hasnam and Nabil Aslan. Going to look to improve on that time as Nakib Aslan is trying to make it past Aryadi Vishnu here.
This is not good. He's being held up here, and Vishnu is not gonna. He's not obliged to get out of the way, of course, because he is on the flyer himself. This is the tricky situation in it. You're on your flying lap, but at the same time, you're actually being caught by somebody. So what will you do?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he doesn't really have a really large amount of concern because he does have the fastest lap. But of course, anything could change in this final lap that these drivers are having. Nakib still trying to make it past Vishnu here. While Vishnu is on the flying lap, doesn't mean he's not quite as fast as the drivers in front right now, and Nakib Aslan is making that fact known to him. Flashing his lights, trying to make it pass.
Oh, and Vishnu actually goes a bit offline. Is he trying to get Nakib to go through? But no, he actually gets back on the racing line. This is hurting Nakib big time. Where is Nabil on track? Nabil's in the pits. Nabil has actually aborted his qualifying, so that means it's a straight fight between Nakib and Demario Hasnam.
We have to see where Demario Haslam is on the track right now. If he's running in clean air, that is a big boon for him. But he's not. He's right behind Nakib Aslan in the second qualifying lap, which means he is also going to be held up by Vishnu.
Oh!
Wide there.
Oh!
Nakib Aslan a little bit. And that will be the end of Nakib's lap. But Demario Haslam is still going. Will he be able to improve on his time? Had to swerve out of the way, so he might lose a bit of speed.
Yeah, but was that team tactics at play? Because that was an MPR GP car in front of Nakib. That might be a Stewart's inquiry afterwards if that were to be the case. Nakib finishes his qualifying. He's on pole. Hasnam then comes across the line. Will he able to beat Nakib's time? Yes, he does beat Nabil, but only 7 thousandths behind Nakib. That little mistake between Nakib and Aryadi Vishnu was enough to give Nakib the pole position, but only just. What a dramatic qualifying session. We're not even in the race yet.
Okay, Stewart's inquiry aside from that, that was still very fast. It was still unfortunate for Nakib Aslan that his lap was spoiled by Vishnu that ended up going off. Tengku Janda, actually qualifying pretty high up in the silver category, is in front of Vladi Malik. But Vladi Malik is on his final lap coming into now. Oh, I think that's it. Yeah, I think he's called it as well. So he will be starting behind Tengku Jan, who is actually very fast in this track.
Jan on pole position. What a flyer that he's had. So that's his first. Yeah, and it's a non-Porsche on pole position this time around. So, wow. Topsy-turvy. But crucially, though, in the grand scheme of things, in the championship fight, that is first blood to Nakib, even if he had a bit of drama in between.
Yeah. So, again, we have to come back to turn 1 because turn 1 is going to be quite intense. Probably not the entry to turn 1, but the exit surely is because of how narrow the track is on the outside. Despite the fact that you're able to exceed the track limits by quite a significant margin, once you rejoin the course, you might end up facing off against some people you don't want to run into.
Yes. And now, the championship point standings are as follows. It's 70... Oh, in fact, it is 76 for Nakib, 81 for Nabil, and 62 for Demario Hasnam. So they might be in different postcodes at the moment in terms of the tenths of the championship. But make no mistake, the race is what really counts and where most of the points come in. So we go now onto the grid. This is where it's important. There is Nakib Aslan on the left, Demario Hasnam on the right. And, well, we got a comment coming through for Axel Nocum. He's finally in top 5 in qualifying, so he's come good at the final round of the season. But he does have a front row view of a championship fight that has become more and more intense the more the minute as the minutes pass by.
Yeah, okay, so we've got about 90 seconds before the start of the race. You can see the drivers on the Zoom call all getting ready, doing their breathing exercises, making sure they stay focused in tip-top condition for the race. We've been here for quite a while already, so we're also trying to stay as tip-top as possible, but considering the amount of times that we were put on the edge of our seats over the last 2 races, well, I'm pretty tuckered out already.
And you're not the only one. We still have a bit more to go here before we can really call a champion tonight. So, we're setting the scene right now.
Yep.
There's, well, we got Afiq Fari on the camera right now. He is racing from Axel Center. He's happy to be in the silver class this time, as opposed to being in bronze last time out, taking a well-deserved victory there as well at Watkins Glen. Still moving his camera. Can you not move around, you little monkey? Okay, he's finally put the camera in the right positions. Now then, let's see who else is right at the back. In fact, it's Afiq right at the back in the Porsche, facing up to the grid in front.
He just switched sides.
For Pete's sake. Anyway, switch back to camera director. Please switch back to the game. There we go. This is Nabil Aslan. Taking it's a bit anticlimactic though. We'll try to set the scene here.
Yeah, no,
so
it's fine. Just
the Mari Hasnam in second. Nakib Aslan first. Nabil Aslan in third place.
let's switch to TV cameras.
Yes. Now, 5 lights on the gantry, 6 lights on the gantry, and when they go out, the final round of the season for Gold and Silver is underway.
Oh, that's
and it's a terrible start! Terrible start for Nakib Aslan. He bogged it, but it looks as though Damari Hastam has the start that he wanted. He gets the whole shot coming to turn 1. Where is Nabil in relation to all of that? He's on the outside coming through as the field squeezes through now. Nabil Aslan is dropped to P5. As Damari Hastam goes up to the P1, Nakib spins. Nakib actually is in second. Someone spins in the infield just now. That might have been either Tengku Jan or Faris Hassan. In fact, it is Tengku Jan. So, unfortunately, pole position did not work out for him. And so is Ali Wafiq Prinata. He's in the grass as well. As we go up to the back, to the front of the field here. Hasnam with an important start. But for how long? Because he knows full well that Nakib would be coming at him like gangbusters. Nabil has unfortunately not the best of starts. Oh, is that a spin? No, just a bit of smoke coming out there as he comes through.
Some technical difficulties there as we accidentally cut back to the intro, but aside from all of that, coming back into the battle right now, Nabil Aslan is in P4, made it past Sunokar right now, is behind Sai Sunokar, trying to make it past and catch up with his brother here, who is about 1 second behind Mario Hasnam.
Yeah, indeed. It's not the best of starts for Nabil, but at least he made up. He lost the position, yes, but at least he made up for it by overtaking Mariana Axonokam. Sai Sudhakar, an equally fast Indian right in front of him, so that will prove to be a bit of a challenge if he was to battle for the championship positions. But it's Nakib, though, with the ball in his court. He knows full well that he needs to finish in front of his brother and get at least the fastest lap of the race to overhaul him. It's just 2 points separating between them coming into this round.
Yeah, so he's in a pretty good position. Getting second here will still keep him ahead of the Mario Hasdam. And his brother as well be able to take the lead from them, but then it'll be up to race 2 to decide who ends up being crowned the king of the gold leagues. But the Mario Hasdam still holding on to that lead. About a second separates these 2 cars right now.
Yes.
Very fast lap. Mario Hasdam with a 208.7. Nakib not doing as well with 209.5, but there is still a lot of time. We've only passed the first lap here. Still 12.5 minutes left in the race as they're coming up to T1 now. Sai Sudhakar still holding off Nabil Aslan, but there's only a half a second gap between those 2 cars.
Indeed it is, and not much in it between them because this is still very close between the guys up in front. And remember, these guys are taking it more or less seriously right now because they do not want to get involved in any craziness, as opposed to Francis Angel Gonzalez, who's trying to overtake Nazmir Aslan. I am not sure who's leading the... Oh, in fact, it is Vladi Malik. So it's back to being a Porsche Armada up in front, despite Porsche losing for the first time in the pole position in this round. Oh, well, in fact, was that last time out was Ferrari, in fact?
Yes.
Well, in qualifying at least, it was actually Ferris last time. So Ferris managed to break the pole position streak of Vladi Malik. But enough about that. Further up in front, this is what the battle we're looking out for, and it's tight between the Mario Hasnam and Nakib Aslan.
So Nakib Azlan is still hounding Demario Hasnam right there, has narrowed the gap down to half a second between the two cars right now coming onto the carousel. You can hear that they have to let off on the throttle, otherwise they will overpower and then go off as they're coming into the kink right now. Again, you can see letting off on the throttle, but don't want to let off on it too much, otherwise you don't have enough speed coming out of the kink into the long straight, coming out to the Canada corner. Gap is extending quite a bit, but Demario Hasnam holding on to the lead just barely. Nakib Azlan braking quite late there, will take the wide line through there. He has to make sure he ends up in the slipstream coming out of T14, otherwise he won't be able to make a pass on Haslam there. Losing control of the Ferrari a little bit, coming out of T13 into T14 to the start-finish straight. Still closing the gap between these two cars, half a second separates them. Sai Sudakar about 1.7 seconds behind him with Nabil Azlan again pounding him, another half a second. So half a second between Nakib Azlan and Demario Haslam, another half a second between Nabil and Sai Sudakar. So Azlan brothers are really shaping up to be very competitive in this race right now. Still trying to make T1 pass through. Elevation changes make this a little bit hard because you can see sometimes the line is blind, you won't be able to see through it. But he's still keeping it nice and tidy through there. Nakib Azlan on the attack. Has to keep this battle between him and Hasnam, otherwise it might end up being spoiled. At this particular juncture, he will end up ahead of Nabil Azlan in this race, but again, fate. Oh! Demario Haslam breaks too early, or Nakib breaks too late.
Oh, he's off into the gravel. Where is Sai Suduka? Sai's coming through. Nabil comes through and takes away P3. Wow! What a development here right now. Nakib chokes at the worst possible moment.
And that sector, I've been talking about that particular sector, that corner gets so many people, and we now see that you have to be very accurate with your braking points, otherwise you just lose it. And now from P2 down to P5, he has a tall ask of him to make it pass everyone else. Aldo Balagulan standing between him and his brother here, Nabil Azlan in P3. He has to at least make it past Nabil if he wants to stay ahead in the race. Demario Haslam is going to be very close to the two of them at the end of race 1.
Yeah, and I'll have to throw the championship competition out the window right now because we have to focus on this. Demario Haslam is doing his best to at least have an outside chance of winning the title here, but I think the gamesmanship have gotten to two of the Aslan brothers. This is really now, they're clutching at straws here. It is really close up in the front. We haven't had a championship battle this tight in gold and silver in eons. It has absolutely been brilliant so far throughout the entire season, and it's coming to a head here in the final round of the season. Race number 1, we still have one more race to go to this race number 2, and we can't wait for that one. For the time being though, Nabil Azlan is in P3. He will retake the leader championship after both of them coming into this round the exact same after qualifying. Nakib though on the recovery drive, coming out to the back of Aldo Balagulan. Aldo's not putting much of a defense, only because he is actually comfortable enough to stay around the outside and hold on to P4 for the time being.
Okay, Aldo Balagulan is the only thing standing behind between Nakib and Nabil. So right now he has to make it through because Aldo Balagulan is the big outlier, and he will end up playing spoiler to Nakib if Nakib can't make it past him. As they're coming out to T4 now, this is the corner that stopped Nakib last lap. Hopefully he's learned from his mistakes and brakes a bit earlier there. Still tries to make it past Aldo Balagulan. Aldo Balagulan actually brakes quite early there, giving Nakib space to pass, and he keeps it nice and tiny on the exit. But here comes, will it be the switcheroo coming out from Aldo Balagulan? No, he has to let off on the throttle right now and give Nakib the position. So Nakib gained 1 position. He's still behind his brother, however.
Crucially, Balagulan didn't fight because he knows full well it's not his fight. He just wants to actually finish off the season on a high here. He doesn't want to get involved with any championship battles and probably have some nasty words coming for Christmas.
It's probably for the best.
For Christmas. He doesn't want any nasty Christmas cards.
It's probably for the best. He doesn't want to get a battle for the ages.
And we have a battle for the ages up on the cards here. And it's once again between the two brothers. Nabil this time has provided more of a fight compared to the last time that these two were line astern. G7, Nabil played a rear gunner to Nakib's championship romp all the way that time around. This time, however, the gloves are off between the two guys, and to point that out, Nakib's actually racing right here in Axel Studio, Nabil's at home. So at least if there's a bust-up that happens between them, it happens not live on air.
Yeah, they're going to end up having to do fisticuffs at home, where we'll be very far away from the action, of course. But Nakib Azlan is driving out of his mind in order to catch up, but it is paying dividends for him. He's narrowed the gap between him and Nabil by another 6 tenths.
Indeed, and across the line they go. Sai Suduka is doing an absolutely brilliant job up in front. This guy has come leaps and bounds ever since winning a race on a controller, would you believe it? He's gutted himself a wheel. He's very good. He's definitely one of the best Indian racers out there, and we're really happy to have him on board in ERGP. And hopefully we get to see him next season. This time around though, he is actually the cork in the bottle in the championship fight, because as the Mario Hasnam streaks away here, 3.6 seconds in front of him, the two Aslan brothers are right behind, ready to fight it out here, tooth and nail for the positions on the rostrum. But for how long will Sai Suduka keep this up?
Yeah, what we're just hoping for is that they don't end up taking each other out, because then that puts them out of the contention and the Mario Hasna will be right back onto their tail. So they have to make sure they avoid each other, as much contact with each other as possible. But Nabil still has to make it past Sai Suduka right now, because it is his only barrier to making it clear of his brother. Faris Aksan here, right next to Afiq Farid, side by side. Nicholas Sage is quite far ahead of both of these cars right now. There is a battle in the silver class right now. Faris Aksan having to go wide on that corner. Afiq Farid making it through, both of them going wide on the exit there.
Wow, that's very wild from both of them. But Afiq still maintains P3 in the silver class ahead of Faris Hassan, who's looking to recover after what was actually a tough start to this race. So it was for Tengku Janleh, Alia Wafiq Prinata and Danish Aram. They were right up there prior to this, but unfortunately they're going to have to play recovery for race number 2. Now then, back up to the battle for the front of the grid. It is heating up. It's getting quite close here. Naqib then behind Nabil. We're going to have to stay on board with this. This is the best view in the entire grid.
Yeah, and you can see there's already a back, but they're coming onto a back marker already. I think that's Nazri Azlan, who is unfortunately stuck at the bottom of silver class right now after an unfortunate incident which we didn't manage to scope out.
No, that's it. That's the Mario. That's how.
Oh, that is the. Oh yeah, that's it. Way in front. Okay, that wasn't a back marker. My mistakes there. I thought the distance between them was quite far already. But here we go. They're right onto each other's tails for the long straight. Nabil Azad has the slingshot.
Oh!
He wants to stay in the slipstream, but Sai Suduka won't let him. But loses a lot of speed there. Nabil Azad making it through, coming into turn 1. Will he be able to hold the lead right now? Has to force Sai Suduka to go wide. They both go wide. Nakib Azad coming through turn 1. Surprisingly, all three of them make it out cleanly. But here comes turn 3 right now.
And Nakib goes on the inside and pushes Sai Suduka out of the way onto the grass. Sai would not be appreciative of that one bit. But Nabil with an absolutely gutsy move to get up to P2. He was right up on the barrier. Sai was caught absolutely by surprise there. He didn't expect Nabil to be still pushing for it. And he's now up to P2, but he has to defend from his brother. This is important. If one of them takes the lead, they are leading the championship coming into the final race of the entire season. What a brilliant race we had so far. And we still have less than 4 minutes left to go.
Yeah, and Mario Hasnam, of course, the biggest beneficiary because it means he does keep up with them. He won't be as close as he would like to the two top front runners. So by all means, this is the championship title run for these two drivers right now. So Nakib Azan has to find a way through. They will be separated by about, I think, maybe 5 points. Yeah, 5 points will separate them in race 2. Okay, 4 points, yeah. About that amount. Still not a very big amount.
But remember, fastest lap. Who has the fastest lap here? Because Hasdam, I think, because he's had a clear run so far, might just get the fastest lap of this race.
Yeah, so let's take a look right now. Okay, while they're not close to each other yet, we can take a look at the Mario Hasdam and see what his fastest lap is. Right now, we can see now Nakib Hasdam did a 2:02.3. That we'll have to check later.
Ooh, interesting.
Not as fast as I would have thought.
Or also, key point to note, this is actually the previous lap.
Yes, yeah. But it does mean they're catching up. By how much? I don't think they'll have enough time to catch up by the end of the race. So this is going to be a battle for P2. But
Nabil gets a poor run out of the final corner there onto the start-finish straight. This is Nakib's chance to actually overtake in the slipstream. Remember last time around, Sai Suduka had to defend real hard to prevent Nabil from coming through. The two brothers are side by side coming to turn number 1. Who's going to blink first? It's Nabil who blinks and lets Nakib through. And that in turn, Nakib is now back in the lead of the championship.
Oh my god, they're switching positions left and right. Let's just hope Nakib doesn't end up making another crucial mistake that might cost him the race this time. He was contesting with the Mario Hasdam earlier on. Now he's contesting with his own brother. And this race is still far from over. We still got about 2 minutes left. That means we have one more lap after this for them to make all the difference.
Indeed, and Nakib goes a bit narrow there. He just wants to defend coming up to turn number 5. Nabil knows full well that he could have actually not wanted to make that mistake onto the start finish rate. That's why it let Nakib through, but Nabil's not giving up.
Nabil's not giving up. He's still making the time, but being behind a car and on the attacking position does have his advantages. You can see where they brake. You can see whether or not you can brake later than them. You can see their lines. You can see how you can be faster than them in certain sectors. As you can see here, Nabil Aslan does brake a little bit later, and they're trying to close the gap between him and Nakib Aslan as they're coming into the carousel. Coming up right now. Ooh, downshift there. Probably not the best. You're going to end up understeering out of the corner there, trying to clip it back into the apex. But does lose a little bit of time there as they're coming into the kink right now. As he moves the bravest out of both of them.
Yeah, they both had to lift there, so at least they managed to hook them into the entrance of the kink. But it looks as though now Keep is faster than the two brothers this time around. He's managed to inch ahead. So it all comes to the final race of this season then. Nakib goes very wide there, has said that. He actually made a slight mistake, so that will bring Nabil back to play. Last time out, Nabil made a mistake through the final corner that allowed Nakib to go through. Let's see if Nabil can pressure Nakib into the exact same thing.
Oh,
There
Nakib
goes
went
wide.
wide there. He keeps it tiny though, however. It does have the fast run out there, but the gap is narrowing. It's now below 0.3 of a second separating them. And Nabil is in the slipstream. Will he be able to make it through? Doesn't seem like it. There's too much of a gap between him and the end of the straight right now. He won't be able to make the move happen, but the gap is still very, very narrow. And neither we go late on the brakes there. Is Nabil Aslan coming to turn one? They're both going to go wide there. Both taking almost the exact same line through there, which means that the gap is back to parity.
Indeed. And well, let's see if we can get a proper car camera view of Nakib's car. Behind that, there we go. That's the one we're looking out for. Is the gap actually getting closer and closer between himself and Nabil? No. We're on the final lap for race number one then. The Mario Hasnam has checked out since the start of this race, where he never really looked back. Yes, he was pressured by Nakib until the mistake at this very corner at lap number 3 that allowed Hasnam to get away. Nakib had been on the recovery drive since then, but it has been a brilliant recovery nonetheless to get up toe-to-toe with his brother, overtaking him for the lead of the race. Luckily, both of them, not lead of the race, lead of the championship, but both of them have been equally up to the job here, and it has treated us to a fabulous battle for the championship, which is still not over yet. Coming into the final round of the season, only 4 points separating the both of them, and we have not included the fact that fastest lap points are still up for grabs.
Yeah, we're going to have to take a look at them later on, but of course, Nabil Aslan is now a gap 8 tenths separating these two. So Nabil Aslan will not be able to make it past them, barring a costly mistake from Nakib. Doesn't seem like that will be the case. However, the gap between him and the Mario Hassan is actually narrowing. Given another 5 minutes, I think they would have been able to catch up.
Yep, but unfortunately they were squabbling among themselves so much to the point that Hasnam can just take his foot off the gas easily, and let's hope that he doesn't run out of fuel, because there has been instances where he did not fuel the car enough for the line. So let's see that he comes around the final corner, up over the brow then for the final time this first race for Demario Hasnam. A calculated drive from the start. He got the jump on Nakib when Nakib bogged it. He never looked back, and despite the pressure from Nakib initially, he comes across the line to take victory here in the gold class. Second is Nakib to take back the championship lead into the final round of the season. Third, Nabil and the rest of the field go through. Sides to the car with Valiant defending, but he has to set up for 4th. Balagul in 5th. Axonocom 6th. 7th, Vishnu. 8th, Rip. 9th, Keith Mo, who'll be a bit disappointed by that. 10th is Francis Angelo Gonzalez. As meanwhile, the first of the silver class guys are coming through, and it's Vladi Malik. We didn't see much of him because he was streaking away up in front ahead of Nicola Maxime Sage, and it crosses the line there to take yet another victory. That will be his 5th, in fact 6th win of the season in front of Sage, who will be delighted to be on the podium once again. And 3rd place will be, I think, Faris Aksan. The moment he crosses the line, yep, in front of Tengku Janlay, recovering after a small sprint at the start. Danish Aram, sorry, in fact, it's Afiq Farid. So Afiq, with a welcome return back to the silver class, nearly whacks into the back of another car. Luckily, he didn't finish there. But the big story here up in front, Nakib Aslan with a recovery drive after a slight mistake to go up to P2 in the race and back to 1st in the championship, but only 4 points. But if we check the fastest lap of the race right now, apologies for this one to come on screen, who got the fastest lap? It is Demario Hasnam. So Hasnam took the pole with the fastest lap for that particular instance, and that means both drivers, the Aslan brothers, are coming to the final round of the season neck and neck.
Ooh.
Take a
Okay,
deep breath.
yeah, so now we're taking reverse grid. That means Nakib and Demario Hasnam are starting in P9 and P10. Nabil will be in front of both of them in P7 and P8. So now it's a matter of whether or not Nabil can hold the lead. But we've already seen that Nakib is a faster driver throughout certain sectors of the track. You just have to make sure he doesn't end up with any other mistakes.
Yes, and we know that he's unflappable, but he's also not infallible.
Yes,
to say the least, because we've seen that already. How Nakib, despite being on the front foot, manages to put himself on the back foot for a while before he had to recover. So, wow, that was an intense first race. And championship standings right now: Nakib 101 points with the drop points counted. Second place Nabil 97 points, and Hasnam with that win in fastest lap 89 points. 12 points separate first to third, and we have it all up for grabs here in the final race of the season, where it's 17 points for a win. So Nakib has to falter in that final round for Hasnam to get by, and then Nabil has to not screw up in this final round either. So all of them will be wishing, Nabil, Nakib, and Demario will be wishing that every single one of them in this championship fight will probably screw up somewhere.
I mean, let's hope for the best right now. Demario Hasnam is going to hope that the Azam brothers do not finish in the points, because that means he gets to stay ahead if he manages to secure first place. But of course, first place is a very difficult spot to be in, because you don't know if you're going to achieve it being so far down the grid, barring any major incidents. So now we're 15 seconds back into the waiting period before they get onto the grid. Wow, what a night.
Absolutely. This season has been amazing with so many races going on. There's never been a dull period in Global Edition 13, thanks to the fact that the cars have really delivered on their promise. So, now then, without further ado, the very final race of the entire season is upon us right now, and we're on board with the winner of race number 1, Demario Hasnam, looking way at the back here in P10. Up in front is the Maserati of Francis Angelo Gonzalez, because he finished P10. He's right up in front. He'll be happy and delighted with that one.
Well, he'll be happy for now. He won't be happy when he comes into turn 1 and he finds out he can't carry as much speed throughout the front of the to the end of turn 1 as some of these front engine cars can.
Looking further behind, the other two Aslan brothers. There's actually 4 of them in this race. So
2 in silver and 2 in gold.
It's amazing how the
racing is just in their blood.
The family is a racing family, bar none.
Yeah. Okay. Oh god, I'm gonna be standing up for this. I can't be sitting down. My legs hurt. Been on the edge of the seat the whole time. I'm gonna be standing up for this. Okay.
Yep. So that's Nazmir up in P18 overall, of course. But I think he's lining up right at the back of the silver class.
Yep. Oh, okay. Here we go. 1 minute left. I can see all the drivers here on the Zoom call right now. You can see on their face cameras the face of sheer determination, focus, and will.
Yep, that is Francis Angelo Gonzalez. That's no doubt Nino Gonzalez right in front of him. Look at the seriousness on his face. He knows full well he's gonna control the pace up in front. He looks a bit tense though.
He's in his Zen
meditation
mode right now. Yeah.
He's in meditation. He's now the Dalai Lama.
Okay, just hope he doesn't miss the start.
Yes. Oh boy.
Freddy Male is on your camera right now, as you can see as well. Pretty chill, all things considered. He knows he's already got it in the bag. He's been dominating the silver class the whole time. Might see a promotion to gold next season.
Right in. So, here we go. Final race of the entire season. Francis Angelo Gonzalez on the left, Keith Moore on the right. They're going to lead the field here. It's still up for grabs. 12 points in it between first and third as we enter the final race of the season. We are underway for the final time. It looks as though somebody bogged the start in the midfield there as the field now go up to turn number 1. Who's going to get the whole shot? It looks as though Keith Moore... Oh, somebody's in and out of the game for a second. It's off somewhere further behind. We need to know who was that. But Keith Moore is up to second behind Francis Angelo Gonzalez. If it's one of our championship rivals, it is absolutely disastrous. It's not Nabil Aslan. It's Nakib. Nakib has actually been sent up for the behind. And where is Demario Hasnam?
Demario Hasnam right now, we're seeing it. It looks like he might be still in the top part. He's in P8 right now.
Roy Riprib is out of the way. So Roy Riprib was the one that caused that big accident at the start. But we're going to look up now one of our main championship rivals. Here he is. That's Nabil Aslan going up at the inside side to the car. Remember, both of them really got close to each other in race number 1. He is now holding the key for the championship. He is up to P7 in front of his brother and his chief championship rival, Demario Hasnam.
Okay, Nakir Azlan now has a tall ask. He has to make it up at least 5 positions to get back just behind Nabil Azlan in order to stay ahead of him in terms of points. But Nabil Azlan is not making it easy for him. He's making his way into the front of the grid as well. That's
Oh no! Nabil's off! Nabil actually touched the back of Ariadne Vishnu and he spun off! The championship is now turned on its head once again. Where is Nakib out of all this? Nakib is now up to P10. Wow! It has changed once again. Where is Hastam? He's up to P6. Off goes that MPRGP car. That might have been, was that? I think Priyanatha. It might have been Priyanatha. It is Priyanatha. Oh no, it's not. It is already Vishnu. Vishnu's off. So, oh wow. It's all kicking off here. And that's Nakib holding on to position. Nakib is up to P7 here. Somebody's on his inside. In fact, he's on the inside of Floody. Oh, who's that then? Sai Sudaka. He's up to P6.
Sai Sudaka is going to try and play spoiler for Nakib Azlan there. He's still ahead of the cars, made it through the silver class cars as well in P9. Trying to make it past. He has to catch up to Demario Hasna right now, who is just 1 position ahead of him. He can see it in his sights as he comes down the start-finish straight. Unfortunately, won't be fast enough to catch up. Sai Sudaka, on the other hand, is in the slipstream. Will he be able to make a move and come out into turn 1? Right now, about 4/10 of a second separate him and Nakib Azlan. Meanwhile, Nabil Azlan is going to have to crawl back to the front of the pack. He's not even in a point scoring position right now. He's going to be in big trouble if he doesn't catch up.
Well, actually, he is in a point scoring position because there's only 10. He's fine. He's fine because we're playing by the class here right now. But what an absolutely disastrous mistake. He wanted to go through on the inside of already Wishidu that time around. Misjudged it, had a big spin, managed to recover, but now he has to claw his way through the silver class field. Nakib Azlan, though, would not be minding that one bit. He manages to get past one of the biggest rivals in the entire championship here. At one point, Sai Sudaka, he was a big roadblock and he managed to get through safely despite the calamity at the start where it looks as though Roy Rip had a bit of a connection issue. It's Nakib Azlan now with the ball in his court.
And we already know from the last race that over the course of the entire race, once Nakib was running in clean air, he was catching up to Demario Hasnam. So he was faster on him sector by sector. And now Demario Hasnam has to contend with traffic while Nakib Azlan has a lot of clean air to run in. He's stuck behind Axel Nokar right now. Will he be able to make it through? It is still up in the air whether or not he'll be able to make it past. He still wants a podium finish. He still needs to be in the high scoring positions. But as long as he finishes close enough to the front of the pack, he might overtake Nabil Azlan.
You know what? That might be very close between the both of them, but he's gonna have to. He doesn't want to focus too much on the permutations. He's coming out to the back of Nocom and Keith Mo, the 2 kids right in front. Oh, that's very close. Very, very close. He was right on the grass and he has to run white. Now that will bring Nakib Azlan back into play here.
Okay, Nakib Azlan is now catching up to both of them. Demario Hassan had to take that line wide now. They're coming out to T13 into the final corner through the start-finish straight. Demario Hassan still has to contend with traffic as Nocom and Keith Mo are slowing him down. He's in the slipstream right now. Will he be able to make it past? It remains to be seen, but they are quite literally human centipeding onto the start-finish straight.
No, that's not the best way to put it. That is really, really out there. As he goes onto the grass, Hasdam really losing it there. Coming up to turn 1, around the outside of Nocom. Oh, that's a brave move. A bit of a touch. Keith Mo has to give him by. And that is Hasdam up to P4 with Nakib Azlan just a couple of positions further behind. And where is Nabil Azlan out of all of this? He is actually still recovering here. He's up to P9 overall behind Ali Wafik Prenata. There goes Nakib Azlan past Keith Mo, so Keith didn't put up too much of a fight that time.
Yeah, Keith, he just realized he wasn't going to catch out there with a couple of mistakes coming out of T1 there. Into T4, Nakib Azlan, corner of death right now. He's right behind Demario Hassan, keeps it neat and tidy there. Keith Mo, you can see the smoke coming out of the brakes there as he tries to make it into the turn. Right now, past the Corvette bridge into T6. Oh, still right on the tail, 310 separate them. Axton Nocom is still playing blocker to both of these cars right now. Demario Hassan still has to try to find a way to make it through, but Nakib Azlan is going to be right there. So much pressure going onto the back of Demario Hassan right now. He can probably feel it on the hairs on the back of his neck.
And more so than that, his whole body might be tingling right now, knowing the fact that he is in a chance of a championship fight, but he has Nakib Azlan right behind him, so he cannot stuff it up right now. He knows full well he just has to get more and more points off the both of them. Nakib is in a prime position. He knows full well that he's got it here, as up in front there's a big battle between Aldo Balagulan and Francis Angelo Gonzalez, the 2 Filipinos swap positions. Aldo Balagulan gets ahead.
Oh, he's
spun! And where is he going to come out from? There he goes out the outside and waits for everybody to come by. That's good driving. Here comes Axel Nocom being overtaken by Hasnam. Hasnam's on the inside and gets another position away.
He's got off!
Oh, he's off! He is off! Oh, he's off spin and nearly into the barriers. We nearly lost our voices there collectively. That's a big one. And there's Nabil Aslan behind him.
What is going on right now? Nabil Aslan, big beneficiary of that. Demario Hastam, his race might just be over right then and there. Nakib Aslan now in 3rd place behind Axel Nocom. He wants to try and make it through safely this time. Doesn't want to make the same mistakes Haslam did right now as they're coming past turn 2 into turn 3 right now. Has to keep it neat and tidy. He still wants that podium finish, of course. Doesn't want to end up causing another mistake that might cost him there. Keith Moore is just behind him. Side Sudokar is also behind him. No, Side Sudokar made it past Keith Moore right now. But this is the battle that we're focusing on. 3 tenths separate him and Axel Nocom. 2 tenths as they're coming into T5.
Yep, here we go. They're coming up to the turn number 5.
Test of courage.
No, not that time round. I think Nakib knows full well he is actually right in the clear. He is ensconced in P3 and right now back in the lead of the championship as we go through the motions here. It's been an absolutely frenetic final race. Just what the doctor ordered. Absolutely nuts. And we still have half the race to go.
Oh my god, yeah, we still have 7.5 minutes left. That means we have at least 4 more laps of things waiting to happen. As you can see right now, this is the ticking time bomb of the current event, of the current race right now. Nakib Aslan, will he be able to make it past? Axel Nocom does go wide there into the carousel. Wants to carry more speed through. Nakib Aslan having a nice line exit there. The kink is very important. If you lose too much speed here, you're losing out on the front straight. You can see Axel Nocom going a little bit wide there. There it goes. Nakib Aslan has the better run up. He's right on the tail of Axel Nocom. Will he make it past him as they go side by side into the Daytona corner? Not quite. Actually, they might just. Nakib Aslan trying to get the inside track. Ooh, heavy smoke coming from the brakes there. I think at some point those brakes might have caught on fire already.
Yeah, he actually locked up coming into this, and Nocom really late on the brakes. That was an absolute daredevil way to just prevent Naki from coming by, but it may just be for naught as he now comes up to the start finish line. Oh, Naki actually clocked the curve for a second, so that will lose a bit of momentum as well. He's got a slipstream. Nocom's not defending just about yet as they come across the start finish line now. It looks as though Naki now goes onto the inside. He may be able to take it. This is for the championship. He comes through up to P2, or does he? Axel actually hangs it around the outside. What a brave defense from the young Filipino, but will it still be enough to get it up to P2? He is on the worst side of this particular fight. He's on the outside and Nakib goes through up to P2.
Oh my god, what an amazing battle, and off the back of that, Axel Nocom is not done yet. He's now pulling up side by side with Nakib Aslan as they're coming out to turn 5 after the end of the straight. Now this is a proper test of courage right now. Who dares to brake later? They're both braking about the same time, but Nakib does have the inside track, which means he will make this pass clean as long as he keeps it neat and tidy. He does, in fact, as they're coming out to the Corvette bridge into turn 6. Another tight left-hander. Yes, he does make it clean afterwards, keeping it neat and tidy into another fast right-hander. That is turn 7. Axel Nocom isn't able to make any more moves. In fact, he's losing ground to Nakib Aslan.
Oh, wow, the more that these drivers are fighting out, and the more that Nakib Aslan gets up to the front, the more likely it is that he has finally secured that well-deserved championship. As we look at where Nabil is right now, he's managed to get up ahead of Keith Mo. So don't consign him out just yet. There's still more that could happen in the final 5 minutes here. It has been an absolutely brilliant championship fight between the three of them so far.
Yeah, just behind him, of course, is Demario Hastam. He wants to make up as many positions as he can. Still on track for that podium finish in the championship, but this is a matter of pride at this point.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was Keith Mo that he overtook. In fact, it was Hasnam.
Yeah.
So Nabil has overtaken Hasnam, but that's crucial as well. At least he got one fast guy out of the way. But again, Nabil will be absolutely kicking himself for the fact that he made such a uncharacteristic error trying to overtake a driver coming out to turn 7. It was just a bridge too far, wasn't it? The gap was just closing. He tried to make it stick. Unfortunately, it sent a bit of spin.
Yeah, but that is a mistake he won't really have to worry about at this point in time because he is still comfortably ahead in points. We'll talk about that later on, of course, but Axel Nocom is still trying to gain ground onto Nakib Aslan. Hasn't been able to do so right now. Not even in the slipstream coming into turn 1 right now. You can see how much more aggressive his driving is becoming, trying to find ways to make it past them, but Nakib seems to be outperforming him in every sector so far.
Yeah, but you do realize that Nakib is now driving very erratically, so he's trying to gap himself to Nocom, but We know how just now he made that mistake coming into turn number 5. He knows full well he doesn't want to make it again.
Yeah, and this time he doesn't really have a marker for him. He has to be very, very careful on the brakes. He is quite early on it this time. That means both of them will clear the corner pretty nice and tidy right now. They're not even going wide there. But it is, of course, still a matter of inches right now. They're about 7/10 separating them as they're coming to turn 7. I am losing my voice right now. But we'll have to keep going right now. We've got 3.5 minutes left in the race. Nakib Azlan still holding on to that P2 position. Aldo Balagulan is pretty far and away ahead, so he'll probably be securing this race for himself. But Nakib Azlan, this is the man of the hour that we're looking at right now. Championship is in his court. All he has to do is grab it with both hands and hoist it up in the sky for all to see who is the best driver of the season.
Oh, now then, we have to look at the battle for the GT2 class in the silver class here. Is Nazmir Azlan has been overtaken by Floody Malik. So Nazmir, he's in the best position he's ever been right now, up at the front. He will try to aim for his second ever victory in ERGP. He did that last time out in Global Edition 12, but it looks as though Floody may have been able to inch out just a bit, but it's still ongoing here right at the back. It's battles everywhere you look at this point in time. Oh, there's a spin! That's a big one further behind Nazmir. Is that Nazri Azlan? Yes, Nazri actually spun off. He actually lost it coming out of the carousel into the side of one of the Porsches and spun out, but luckily not out of the race.
Not out of the race, but really far back from everyone else. He's going to have a lot of time to keep up. Floody Malik, of course, silver leader right now. Aldo Balagulan, you can see the man on the screen right now, still comfortably ahead. Hasn't had any competition the whole race aside from Francis Angelo Gonzalez, but he hasn't had to worry about that for quite a while now. However, Nakib Azlan is within sight.
And he's within sight of a championship. Nabil with a brilliant recovery drive may not be enough. He still has the Mario Hasnam right behind his tails. What happened to Keith Mo? Keith Mo actually was in front of both of them. Looks as though it might some mistake might have happened to young Keith. He is out of the
There's a chance he might have bottled it.
Yeah, out of the roster positions.
Yeah, which is unfortunate for him, but of course we have to come back to the competition here. Right now, you can see Nabil Azlan on your coming out on the Zoom call right now. Still in focus.
Yeah, in fact, we're focusing on him right now because he only has the Mario Hasnam a few tenths behind him. He's about 5.1 seconds behind Sai Suruka and running out of time. 1.5 minutes left to go here. He had the championship in his hands. He was in front of Nakib coming into the end of the first lap, but up to this corner where it unraveled completely, he really didn't have to come through too fast. Otherwise, he would have actually been able to challenge for Nakib up front. We have had a much closer battle here. Runs very wide, but so does Hasnam for the behind.
Yeah, as you were mentioning that this particular sector has also caught a lot of drivers off guard because of all the speed that you're carrying through this particular sector, especially here in the kink as well. Managed to keep it nice and tidy in that part. Still holding on to the lead, but just barely in front of the Mario Hasnam here. Quite a bit of less than a second separating these two cars. Coming onto the cat of the corner, Francis Angelo Gonzalez. Ariane Wish to try to make the pass happen, just bottles it on the entry, slides it out, and that will be the end of that particular encounter. But here we go, Nakib Azlan right now. If you can watch clearly, he is actually catching out to Aldo Balagulan. Although, again, just like last race, it's too little, too late.
Yeah, he'll be contented to have 2 second places in a row. In fact, 3 consecutive because he qualified on pole. He qualified
on pole, yes.
But he finished second on 2 races. He wouldn't mind taking that so long as the fact that he does have the championship in his hands. And boy, oh boy, did he have to do it the hard way because he literally thought, that's it, that's his championship stuffed. But he can show why he drives like a champion. He goes full pelt, drives back valiantly like a lion, literally with no quarter given, just to come back up to the back of Aldo Balagulan. It's been an absolutely brilliant round, this one, and of course the championship season up to that point. It's really paramount that shows why these drivers are the best in the entire field. There have been a few low points, but the high points have been outweighed here so far, especially for Nakib. Slides his way out, don't make too many of those, otherwise you would imagine dropping it in the worst possible way. That would have been another...
Do not jinx it!
It would be another absolutely big sting in the tail, but I highly doubt that Nakib would do something like that. He is absolutely impervious right now. Look at that. He's sliding knowing full well that the championship is well within his sights.
Yeah, definitely, and he's going to be really happy. We don't actually have it on camera this time around, so we might not be able to interview him at the end. But aside from that, however, he's going to be super happy. In fact, I think He is here right now, right?
Yeah, he is at Axel's.
So he might run into the broadcast room.
Yeah, we can get him on board live. So at least that's the first time ever we got a champion on board live here. But out of the way, that one. It's been a brilliant battle throughout the entire season for the championship fight between Nakib, Nabil, and Demario. They have provided us with an absolutely brilliant battle. But for the time being now, watching the Aldo Balogulen, he'll take his first win of the season. And the first one in a long while, because it's been a couple seasons since he's won. Across the line he goes, over the brow to take race number 2 in round 4 on Global Issue for the gold class. But behind him, Nakib Aslan comes across the line to take the championship in an absolutely amazing final round. We've had topsy-turvy, sting-in-the-tail races throughout the entire season. This one was no different. It was an absolutely stonking race, and again, another championship for Nakib Aslan, but not in the way he wanted. He had it to do it the hard way, from really against all odds to take that particular championship. 5th place is Nabil Aslan. He'll settle for P2 in the championship to his brother once again. An absolutely stunning race, a stunning season as well, because he had to come from one round dropped to get up to the back of his brother, but so close yet so far. He'll be happy with that one. And there we go, a bit of a buzz between the both of them. You can see his little smirk there. He's having a bit of afters with his brother. That's a little friendly banter. And luckily for them, no fisticuffs will happen between them in the pit lane, apart from that particular one where I think Keith Mo decided to give a end of season closing battles to get out of the way. But as we get back onto our seats, an absolutely breathless final round of the entire season. Nakib Aslan, your worthy champion once again. And Keith Mo is doing donuts around him in the grass.
Yeah, that'd be great to highlight reel. Let's see if we can get Nakib in here in the room to do an interview with him. I don't think we have a mic for him, unfortunately.
I think we might have to give up one
You can do the solo interview. I don't know what I'm going to ask him other than, what the heck was that?
Completely came out of nowhere, that one. But absolutely delighted for all three of them to provide an absolutely brilliant championship battle. But it's going to one of the Aslans. And it has gone Malaysian right in the end, with Nabil losing out just by virtue of the fact that it was a slight mistake, that it was uncharacteristic from him, that gave the open goal straight to Nakib, and he took it with both hands. But we're going to get him very soon. In fact, I think we are hearing some activity coming into the broadcast room pretty soon.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. We have Nakib on board. Damon's going to give out the position. Well then, that's the first that we're going to have in a while. A champion on board, live on the scene. This is Nakib Aslan. Then, Nakib, first and foremost, congratulations once again. This is your 3rd ERGP title, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Thank you very much. First of all, very surreal to be here behind the scenes. This is my first time here.
Yeah, we can hear plenty of laughter behind the scenes there, because I think we're all laughing at the fact that this is the first time ever we've gotten a champion right on the scene, just a few seconds after the championship was claimed. But take us through your races as well, especially race number 1, when you tried to overtake Demario, but a slight error in judgment nearly cost you there, wouldn't it?
No, I don't think that was an overtaking maneuver at all. It was a complete misjudgment on my part. Just, lack of concentration, lack of practice in general. So, I mean, that's proof that the laps do count and the hours that you put in does matter. Because if I had put in the hours, I don't think that mistake would have happened. But it did. Luckily, we got to recover from that. It was some good racing with Sai and Nabil to make it back into P2. And then race 2, wow, that was a huge melee at the start. Started off with Roy having some internet issues.
And that took you out as well, isn't it? Because because we saw your car having a bit of damage on the side. It was a bit scuffed.
Mm-hmm.
We thought that, okay, hopefully none of the championship guys got in it. But then we saw your car was like, okay.
Yeah.
Did you think at that time that was pretty much a recovery drive for the entire race, or you still had the confidence to do so?
No, I don't. At that point, I was really frustrated because it was through no fault of my own. It was out of my control, really. So ultimately, once I got back in control of the car, just wanted to keep on going back in the race. I realized I was still in front of the GD2 cars. So once I realized that, I knew, okay, I had a remote chance of making it back. And then some more melee happened at the front. And then after lap 1, I realized, oh, we're in P6. So that's when I then checked the standings and I found Nabil. I think he got involved in an incident as well.
Yes, because on our camera we caught it as it happened because he was trying to overtake Vishnu, which of course was the guy that kind of stuffed up your qualifying. Yeah, Nabil just spun it right. It was an uncharacteristic error. He wanted to overtake on the inside coming through turn 6 and he looped it around. But from that point, what were you thinking? Were you thinking straight away to taking the championship or were you just focusing on the task at hand?
No, I don't. I think at that point, yes, I noticed my championship rival was having issues. So obviously the risks that I took were a bit more controlled. But at the end of the day, I think the ultimate goal was still to win that race. We had I think, slight chance of doing it. It was good battles with Axel, avoiding Demario, making that mistake that the second to last corner. But ultimately, yeah, I think very happy with how today went, considering the races that happened. But I think ultimately, I'm actually quite sad that me and Nabil didn't really have a proper fight at it in that second race. I think we deserved that. But that's just how it goes sometimes.
Exactly. That's sometimes how the cookie crumbles. But how does this championship compare, the feeling of satisfaction compared to your previous two ones?
That's a difficult question to answer. I think the field is a bit different for this year. This season compared to the previous ones. This season was mostly a testing ground for me because it's a new platform. Never raced in AC before, so wanted to make sure I get the ground covered for future competitions on Assetto Corsa. So yeah, yes, the target was to win the championship, but I didn't really come into it expecting it because it was all very new to me. So very glad that it happened.
Absolutely. And the level of competition has really increased. We're going to see a couple of silver guys come through. Are you going to come back to defend your title, though?
We'll see. I hope more competitors come into it because I think that's what really enlivens these races. The new blood that comes in, it really hypes up the race. It makes racing more exciting. So hopefully more of you guys out there come and join us at eRacing GP. We really would like the extra company.
Nice. Fantastic. And any closing words to close off the season?
Closing word is thank you to the organizers, thank to you guys behind the scenes. I think you guys are really the masterminds behind it. Another great season of racing, really entertaining. Can't wait for the next one.
Absolutely, and thank you for coming on board as well.
No
Thank
worries,
you for
cheers.
racing and upping the ante, especially the fact that the quality of the grid is absolutely high up there, and you're at the peak of it. So, congratulations once again.
Thank you so much.
And that is your 3-time champion of ERGP. That matches the record set by Alif, I think, previously.
Yes, it does. Alif, come back. We need a fight for the fourth.
Okay, there you go. That's the gauntlet being thrown. Alif, okay, please accept that. So we're going to have an even better one next season. But from all of us here in ERGP, from Axel Sports, our sponsors, especially the one at the bottom here, MAM, Live Apparel, Royal Selangor, and Xbox, who provide us facilities. That's one way to end the season. I think we can also let one of the other guys who are outside the camera come through and say hi to us, because he's also contributed to the company. There you go, that's Imran. Imran's highly Season 7 champion Pro Copper as well. There's a room of champions here right now. But that's it from us. We'll see you next season, and hopefully you enjoyed Global Edition 13.